All right, everybody, welcome in here to Eudora Sports Live as we're bringing it to you from Louisburg, Kansas in beautiful Wildcat Arena as we are about just under 20 minutes left to go before kickoff here. The Cards and Wildcats have both been out here warming up on the field. I'm Hayden Harves with you, bringing the stream to you tonight from lovely Louisburg as the Cardinals come into tonight 3-1 after a really good last couple of weeks. They knocked off the Spring Hill Broncos and then at home again knocked off the 3-0 and number 3 ranked Ottawa Cyclones. And they come in tonight against 1-3 Louisburg, who's had a little bit of a tough patch they've been fighting through as of late. But they're coming off a win against Bonner Springs, and coming into today, we've got a couple of, let's see. There we go. You see the Wildcat field out there. We had both players out here warming up. Did not get a whole lot of info as to what the player situation will look like, but when they were out on the field earlier, it did look like Houston Carnegie was out there warming up at QB, so we presumably do not have Cy Thomas once again this week on the Cards side of things. But nonetheless, Cardinals have looked really strong the last couple of weeks. Grayson Moody had a phenomenal week on the ground last Friday night against Ottawa. He had 166 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns rushing, along with Keelan Duncan in tow, went for 82 yards and a touchdown in his own right. Bryce Mulvihill got a couple of carries too, 52 yards and a touchdown for him. And the story of the night was the defense for the Cardinals. You had Riley Nice out there, had a sack and a couple of tackles for loss. Garrett Golay also had a sack and a TFL. Leland Bradshaw as well, a sack. And this Cards defense was flying around, making Ottawa all kinds of uncomfortable. That was a game where the Cardinals went down 14-0 in the first quarter, fought their way back to actually take the lead 21-14 in the second quarter. A Hail Mary by the Cyclones tied it up going into half. And from there, the Cardinals did not allow a touchdown or a single point for the rest of that game, and they stretched it out for a 35-21 victory. And in the week since, they have been moved up to ranking number 4 in Kansas 4A by K-Preps this week, and in 810 Varsity's KC Metro poll, they came up ranked in the top 25, sitting at 21 in the KC Metro by 810 Varsity. So certainly a good week for the Cards, certainly a very impressive start for them. And we'll bring you a little bit more content. We are at homecoming night here for the Wildcats. You've got the marching band and all kinds of special ceremonies going on over here. But we will take a quick break and bring you guys back for a little bit more info on the pregame show brought to us by Fort Scott Community College.
At Kansas Insurance, we know one size doesn't fit all. In fact, our whole mindset is based on customized policies for you and your families. We're local, and we do what we do because we care about you. Think of us as brokers for your insurance needs. Working with Kansas Insurance gets you the award-winning service and attention to detail that only an independent agency can provide. All across Kansas, we're here to help you manage and plan for all types of risk. Contact a local agent today. Kansas Insurance. Local, independent, serving you.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here, preparing for a career in healthcare as part of Fort Scott Community College's nursing program. Or maybe you belong on stage as part of the Hounds band or theater department. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
Are you looking for a trusted partner in pet care? Look no further than Eudora Animal Hospital, proudly serving Eudora and the surrounding area since 1975. Eudora Animal Hospital offers a wide range of services, including wellness exams, surgeries, routine vaccinations, and emergency care.
I just want to thank everybody in the community for trusting us with the care of their animals, and go Cards!
Schedule an appointment by calling 785-542-3265 or visit eudoravet.com.
Charlie was born at LMH. We had a great team of nurses. Not only did they check in on us regularly, they always asked if we had questions, always made sure that we understood what was going on. I cannot say enough wonderful things about the labor and delivery, family birthing, and mother baby care team at LMH Health. We had to put our entire trust into their hands.
All right, back to you here from Louisburg, Kansas, with a little bit more from your Fort Scott Community College pregame show. You belong at Fort Scott Community College. From nursing to farm and ranch management, John Deere Tech to theater, and so much more. Plus championship caliber athletic programs. Learn more at fortscott.edu. As we come to you a little more with the pregame show, a little bit more info on last week and then how we look in the Frontier League coming into today, as of course both of these teams do preside within the Frontier League. Off of last week, we know Cy Thomas did not play for the Cards. We presume Houston Carnegie will get the start again today if Cy Thomas is not able to suit up. Unfortunately, we don't know a lot of that at the moment, so we'll just see when they run out on the field and we get our starters. But it presumably will be either Thomas or Carnegie starting at QB. From there, Grayson Moody and Keelan Duncan. I expect the two of them to have even more impressive nights on the ground here. Those two both really, really effective last week. That two-headed monster at running back for the Cards has really been starting to pay dividends. Over these last couple of games, you've really started to see the identity that the Cards have been wanting to establish with Coach Steffen, which is running the ball well, and especially with those two, you never really know who to defend when they're both so capable and such different running styles. Moody so hard to bring down, so fast, so powerful, and Duncan very quick, a little bit more elusive, but still the power to knock somebody down if he needs to. But off of those two, Preston White had a pretty impressive week as well, had a couple of good catches there. And the offense for the Cards has really just been a lot of methodical. It's been a lot of working with what the defense has given them. Penalties have been a little bit of a concern as far as the procedural penalties, false starts, holding calls, things of that nature. And that is something Coach is going to want to clean up quite a bit, I'm sure. But coming in here today against a 1-3 Louisburg Wildcats team that he alluded over the week may be a better team than their record indicates. There was a Sports in Kansas interview established with the Cardinals in the last couple of days where they talked to Coach Steffen and a couple of players, including Preston White, Ethan Winton, Cage Crable, and a couple of others. And the overarching theme that I caught as they were talking things over was that they want to run the ball, they want to play good defense and force the opposing quarterback off his spot and making difficult throws, which is somewhere the Cards feel really comfortable. And they also repeated over and over, locking in the quotes of Coach Steffen and Cage Crable and a couple of other players. They know that this is not an easy Wildcats team. They know this is not an easy game they can just walk into and walk out with a win without any effort. These Wildcats are going to fight them. And if you want a little bit of the history on the matchup, some pretty absurd stats actually, these Louisburg Wildcats have not lost to the Eudora Cardinals since 2013. For reference, I was 8 years old at the time. The iPhone was fairly new. Many gaming consoles we know of hardly existed. I believe the PlayStation 4 was brand new, and a lot of the modern tech that we know of did not exist. Think about how much different the world looked 12 years ago. That's what this team looked like the last time they beat the Wildcats. And the Wildcats and the Cardinals have many players today who were extremely young, not even of school age at that point. As we check in here for the national anthem performed by the Louisburg Marching Band. A lovely performance put on there by these Louisburg Wildcats, the marching band and the whole musician group out here performing a lovely national anthem for us. But as I was saying, moving into a little bit more of the details and the history of the matchup, the Wildcats have been very, very formidable against the Cardinals in recent years. Last year in particular, they played in Eudora, and that was a 42-14 victory for the Wildcats. Again, one of 12 straight matchups that they have come out victorious in so far in the history of this matchup. But this is looking like a fairly different team. They started their season on a little bit of a rough note, and where the Cards bounced back after that Week 1 loss, the Wildcats did have a little bit more of a struggle. It was a bit of a fight for them to get to this 1-3. That one win came last week against Bonner Springs. That was in Bonner Springs, a 21-0 shutout win for them. But the first 3 games of the season, lost to Tonganoxie by 6, lost to the Paola Panthers 31-14, and then lost to Clay Center 34-7. So the defense inevitably has been giving up a handful of points. We see 20 given up in the first week, but then over 30 in the next 2. But we did hear Coach Steffen say, of course, in that Sports in Kansas interview, he said this is not an easy team. He said their record does not indicate how tough they will play. And he also brought up a point that I really liked. Last year, the Eudora Cardinals looked similar to this. He mentioned that he thinks the Wildcats graduated somewhere in the realm of 20 or more seniors off their football team, which means they're in a similar spot to where the Cards were last season, where they were so young and still learning how to be good and learning how to play cohesively as a unit in so many different ways. Whereas the Cards this year look a little more grown up, a little more cohesive as a unit. The Wildcats looking for that now after losing inevitably a ton of starters in this last offseason. The Cardinals looking like the stronger team today, but you can never count out a team like the Wildcats. They come in 7th in the Frontier League, sitting at just 1-2 within district. Meanwhile, the Cardinals come in sitting with lone leadership of first place in the Frontier League. They are 3-0 within the division. The Spring Hill Broncos, Tonganoxie Chieftains, and Ottawa Cyclones all sit at 2-1 within the Frontier League, so the lead for the Cardinals is slim. However, they do currently sit alone at the top, step on the box in the Frontier League, and they're going to try to hold on to that as tightly as they possibly can after today's matchup against the Wildcats. We'll look at some of the upcoming games they have after tonight. Just 3 more games on the rest of the season, for the regular season at least, for the Cardinals. They play in Louisburg tonight, then it's to Independence. They will come to Eudora to play next Friday. Then it's the Chieftains and the Panthers to round out the year. So if the Cardinals can come out of today with a win, they will put themselves in very good position to possibly run out the rest of this season and try to bring home a Frontier League title. And we're about 6 minutes away from kickoff. We'll send you to another break, come back and talk a little bit more about what we see coming into this matchup, and then it's time for kickoff. About 6 minutes away. We'll bring you right back to us after this short break.
Charlie was born at LMH. We had a great team of nurses. Not only did they check in on us regularly, they always asked if we had questions, always made sure that we understood what was going on. I cannot say enough wonderful things about the labor and delivery, family birthing, and mother baby care team at LMH Health. We had to put our entire trust into their hands, and just everyone was so friendly and so supportive.
We'll bring you back in here to hear the starters for the Louisburg Wildcats.
Junior number 68, Harlan Schleicher. Junior number 53, Braxton Kessner. Sophomore number 66, Jeff Wayne. And now the linebackers. Junior number 19, Bryce Thompson. Junior number 29, Will Norton. Sophomore number 3, John Gillerman. The defensive backfield, junior
As we approach time for the coin toss, we want to bring you our presenting sponsor for Eudora Sports Live, Kansas Insurance. Kansas Insurance believes in taking time to issue personal care and attention to each individual client. To see how Kansas Insurance can help you protect what matters most, call 913-369-6600. Proudly bringing Eudora Sports Live to Cardinal fans everywhere. Once again, that is 913-369-6600. As we are approaching time for kickoff here in Wildcat Stadium, we've got the captains for the Cardinals and the captains for the Wildcats out there at the moment talking things over. We are moments away from the opening kick. Last week against the Cyclones, we did find out that Coach Steffen and his offensive coordinator, Jason Tharp, do have slightly different philosophies on what they want to do with the opening kickoff. Jason Tharp was very much so a proponent of taking the ball if they can get it on the first drive of the game to open, trying to go downfield and score and put a bit of pressure on the opposing team. A little more offensive-minded, of course, while Coach Steffen, more on the defensive side, believes in deferring if possible, giving the other team the first opportunity, and trying to not only get a stop and still start off with the lead, but then receive the kick to start the second half, which is a large part of why the Cardinals were able to walk away from the Cyclones last week. They did defer that kick early on, and although the Cyclones did score on their opening drive, it was tied to start the second half, and the Cardinals had some momentum, and they were able to score, get a stop, and then just slowly stretch that gap out and bring it all the way back home. That was a dominant rushing performance on the ground for the Cards, but we'll check in here, see which way that toss goes. Captain's out there at the moment, refs talking things over. Looks as if the Wildcats may be deciding which direction they want to kick. So we'll wait till we get confirmation. We are on the clock 1 minute and 40 seconds away from kicking off here in Louisburg, Kansas. They can throw a couple minutes up on the clock on us sometimes, but at the moment it seems we are just about 90 seconds away at this point. Now here's the opening kick toss.
Well, Louisburg has won the toss and to the first team.
All right, so the Wildcats do win the toss. They elect to defer, so the Cardinals will receive the ball initially. I'm sure assistant head coach and offensive coordinator Jason Tharp pleased with that one, and the Cards have got to be excited for the opportunity to come in here, try to put on a statement score on the opening drive, and see if they're able to set the tone for this night. If they're able to score on their opening drive and play good, strong defense, this is very much so the kind of game where the Cardinals can just put themselves in a good spot. And if they can play mistake-free ball, cut down on the penalties, and try to hold on to possession of the football. I believe they had 4 fumbles against the Broncos, and then they had 3, perhaps 2 or 3, a couple of them last week against the Cyclones. And they recovered the majority, but Reed McAvoy and I just kept mentioning that fumbles like that, even if you're getting them, just feels like a matter of if, not exactly when, you will give a fumble up the other way. So the Cards going to want to try to keep the ball in their hands, keep it from hitting the ground, because if they give this Wildcats defense an opportunity to get a ball and get on the field, things could sway pretty quickly. As out come your Cardinals, looks like it'll be Hubler out into the first receiving spot along with Preston White. As we've seen for a lot of the season, Cards out there amped up. White and red uniforms for your Cardinals, while purple and white for the home Wildcats here. Opening kickoff today is brought to you by Wolf Diagnostic and Automotive. Since 2005, Wolf Diagnostic and Automotive has been keeping Eudora moving. Find them at 208 East Street. From tune-ups to major repairs, they service all makes and models with honesty and care. Call 785-542-5152 today, and Wolf Diagnostic will get you back on the road and quickly. Looks to be Blaise Vos, the senior, getting set to kick this one off for us, and he's got, again, Preston White and Des Hubler back to receive. The sun's starting to set for us over Louisburg, Kansas. We're looking at a cool 80 degrees at the moment at kickoff, which means as the sun sets, it's only going to get cooler. Going to be a comfortable night for these players. With a boot, we are off here in Louisburg. That one will be fielded by Hubler, who's going to bring this one back up the middle, trying to make a man miss, and he will go down right around the 18-yard line. And that'll bring out the Cardinals offense. We'll try to take a peek, see who we've got in at quarterback here. I see Grayson Moody, I see Preston White, and it does look to be Houston Carnegie out there to start at quarterback once again. We do know he is perfectly capable of running the offense. Did a really impressive job last week. Didn't throw for any touchdowns, but didn't really need to. Ran for one on his own on the ground. We talk a lot about Cy Thomas and the capability he has on the ground, but that was not necessarily only a Cy Thomas skill last week. Carnegie was able to do it as well. under center. Preston White out to his right. Snap is off. The give looks like it's to Moody, and he'll lunge upfield for a gain of about 3.
Grayson Moody up the middle, tackled by Johnny.
And we talked a bit last week, Reed and I did, about just how effective this run style of offense is that the Cards love so much, that Coach Steffen's such a believer in. And sometimes you don't necessarily see the effects of it super early in games. Most of the effect comes later as the offensive line starts to roll and you start to wear down a defense. That's when you really see that run game take off. White lined up out wide to the right again. Carnegie under center. Inching up pressure from the Wildcats. Carnegie goes to the ground, but not before getting the handoff. I believe that was to Moody as well. He's going to get upfield for about 2 more. And that'll bring up 3rd down and medium. Looks like it'll be about 3rd down and 6. They're going to say 3rd and a long 5. So now you start to wonder if we're going to see the ball put into Houston Carnegie's hands, if coaching staff is going to trust him to try to get them out of the 3rd down. They did just that. Last week we saw a 3rd and 6 where they put the ball directly in his hands, just missed Preston White by a little bit. But it is the same formation. White lined up to the right. Carnegie under center. Takes the snap. That ball is out. He picks it back up, hands it off to Duncan. Duncan back to Carnegie, and he's going to be brought down and sacked. Did keep possession of the football, but he's down at the 21-yard line. That's going to bring up an early 4th down for a 3-and-out for the Cards. And they'll march off the field as the Wildcats come back to try to field this punt. So that was a loss of 2 officially. It was a very, very close save there. Carnegie picked up his own fumble and was able to get it back to Keelan Duncan. Duncan tossed it back to him, just hoping to recover it, but you got to think from a coaching perspective, you'd almost rather your players just hold onto the ball, take the sack. Ball security, the primary focus here, as that one is punted away. It's going to land at about the 40-yard line opposing. That one is picked up, and a Wildcat returner going to bring it down to about the 45-yard line. That is Cole Lands, the junior. And that punt was sent from the Cards side as they'll march off the field. Pretty solid starting field position here for the Louisburg Wildcats. We'll get a peek at who's in at QB, see what kind of personnel we're looking at here. Number 3, the receiver moving out wide, that's John Getterman. Under center formation, 2 running backs lined up in an I form type. Back behind the quarterback. Looks like Max Amron lined up at QB under center. Tight personnel for the Cards on the defensive end. Ammer tosses off to the 6. Oh, running back buried in the backfield, was met immediately by an onslaught of Cardinals. And that was Blaise Vos, who got the carry and just wasn't able to do a whole lot with it. He's buried for a loss of officially 4, which will bring up 2nd down and 14. And last week we saw that the main weakness of this Cards defense, although there are not many, is procedural penalties, like a face mask untimely at the end of the half last week, and pass defense through the air. As Hubler going to come out, the 8 on the Cards side, going to move on over. That's Gavin Eder to match up on the receiving end. But it's going to be Amron once again. Taking the snap, gives over to Vos. Vos going to move upfield for a gain of about 4. He's going to get back to the original line of scrimmage. He was met by Long and Nice right at the line. And that's going to bring up an early 3rd down and long for the Wildcats. Cards going to try to get themselves out of an early jam, force their own 3-and-out, and try to set themselves back on even ground. Wildcats, of course, as a younger team, they're going to be learning on the fly, getting better with every snap. So it's going to be paramount that the Cards play tight, play good, sound, fundamental defense early here. Amron takes the snap, 3rd and 10. It is not going to be play action. He does hand it off to Vos. Vos caught in the backfield almost, and he will be brought down out of bounds. But there is a flag on the play that looked like Fanninsteel. That was Hertig that got to him, along with Newt Schreiner. So that would be a 4th down, but we'll see what the flag is here. The refs will concur. Garrett Golay seeming to point back, along with Marks. They certainly think it's moving back in. Now the Wildcats are starting to move in the wrong direction, which is maybe the right direction for the Cardinals, as here's the official call. That was holding on the offense, and that penalty was declined by Coach Steffen, which is going to bring up 4th down. So now the punt unit will come out for the Wildcats. Hubler will move back to return this punt, and just like that, the Cardinals defense is able to immediately force a 3-and-out of their own to essentially make that early 3-and-out from the Cards offense a moot point. But you know the offense is going to want to get things rolling a little bit quicker on this opposing possession. That one punted away by Vose, a nice high punt. A lot of airtime there. It's going to be, touches the ground at about the 15 before picked up at about the 14-yard line, it looks like, and that's where the Cards will begin. So backed up field position on both drives so far for the Eudora Cardinals.
Eudora ball, 1st and 10, Cardinal 14. Congratulations to our Teacher of the Month, Mrs. Jessica Gibbons.
Looks like Duncan out in the formation along with Colton Bowser in for the offense. And there was correlation last week, we noticed, between the Ottawa Cyclones starting field position on their kickoffs. Almost seemed to directly correlate to how successful they were on offense. If they started close to midfield, they were very, very likely to go down and score. But starting backed up was a problem for them with that deep pass game. We'll see what it does for the Cards here. Carnegie lined up under center. He's got White lined up to his left. And Carnegie takes a snap, tosses over to Moody. Moody going to be met at the line of scrimmage and brought down right about there. A gain of just about none. That was Getterman who met him in the gap and brought him down. So the Wildcats certainly privy to the fact that the Cards are wanting to run the ball today. They have been all over it, filling those gaps very well thus far. And it is difficult for the Cardinals to really get the run game rolling later in the game if they're not able to get it rolling early. 2nd down and 9. We know philosophically they would probably like to run it again here. You wonder at what point you put some trust in Carnegie and let him try to take a shot at it. We know the receiving core is capable here. Carnegie under center, 2nd down and 9 from the 15. He moves back, tosses over. That's given to Moody. Moody's got a man miss. He's got one man to beat. 3-0. He's going to be brought down at the 40-yard line. That was Getterman, but a big run for Moody to get the Cards out of some possible jeopardy there. He's going to go down inbounds. Getterman may have well saved a touchdown there. Moody outran everyone else, and as he tried to turn the Jets on, John Getterman, the sophomore, stayed step for step with him. As it's going to bring up a fresh set of downs for the Cards. We're looking at just over 7 minutes to go here left in the first quarter. 1st and 10. They're starting from the 39 officially. Preston White lined up out far to the left. We've got a heavy run type formation. Oh, Carnegie in a step back. He's going to try to throw over to White. White's got a step on him. Oh, it was over the hands. Preston White could have very well had a shot to get that one and run all the way back, but he is just barely overthrown by Carnegie. I actually love the shot. I love the play call there from Coach Steffen. Certainly looked like run personnel. I expected a run. Imagine most of the Wildcats defense did too, but nonetheless, Preston White did in fact have a step. Man, that's the 6 foot, 170-pound junior. Had a step, had an opportunity to try to get a tough catch there, but whether it was tracking it in the lights or not quite enough momentum to get to it, brings up 2nd down and 10 here for the Cards from the 39. Man in motion, that's Duncan. Carnegie going to step back. He tosses to Duncan to the right side. Duncan gets past the 1st level, up to the 2nd level, and he will go down at the 49-yard line of the Cards. They are knocking on the door of advancing field position and trying to move into plus territory, but they are on their own side of the 50, just narrowly, and that's going to bring up 3rd down and 1 for the Cards. They move into the huddle once again. And it's 3rd down. Oh, Wildcat Stadium getting nice and noisy here, letting the home team out on the field to hear them. Got to think there is all kinds of energy here. We've got Carnegie lined up under center. Preston White out to his left. Duncan in motion again. The give is to Moody, and Moody going to push forward for a 1st down and a little bit more. He's going to get a gain of about 4. He's over into the plus side of the 50-yard line. And for the first time today, the Cardinals have moved into Wildcats territory to get a fresh set of downs as we're about halfway through the first quarter here.
Lets them into their own territory.
The Wildcats trying really hard not to move backwards here. They've still got a lot of field position to go. The Cards, however, last week we know with the kicking unit starting to get a little bit of buzz. Caden Dunback in the kicking spot has been more than capable of hitting from 40 plus. Coach Steffen hinted that he thinks he could even get close to 50, but no concern at the moment yet. Carnegie under center again, and a fresh set of downs. He's going to give to Bowser over to the left side. Little misdirection. Bowser gets a gain of 5. He's past the sideline. Oh, he's still on his feet, but he's going to be pushed out of bounds right around the 33-yard line. That's a gain of about 15 yards. And no flags on that one, which is always a good sign too. We know that sometimes we're seeing some of those woes from the Cards offense where they'd have a positive play and you'd see the yellow laundry land over in the backfield and it would bring it right back, but no such problem so far today, as after a shaky first possession and 3 and out, the Cards marching there at the 35-yard line. Carnegie under center. He's got Moody as the lead blocker. Hands off to Duncan. Duncan is back to the line of scrimmage. He's got Wildcats in pursuit. He's going to get an edge and move out to the 20-yard line before being knocked out of bounds by Heinrich, it looks like. But that's going to bring the Cards just about into the red zone, as that's that two-headed monster we were talking about a little bit earlier, when you've got both Keelan Duncan and Grayson Moody in the backfield who are just so capable. It's so difficult for a defense to truly predict how to stop it, because not only two different capable runners, but two different run styles entirely. You've got to approach the contain form a little bit different. And when they're both out in the formation, you never really know who's getting the ball. But it's another fresh set of downs. 1st and 10 from the 19 for the Cards here. Carnegie lined up under center once again. Moody the back behind him. He's going to hand off. Moody gets the carry, and he's met right at the line of scrimmage. He's going to be brought down after a gain of maybe 1. He was met by Bryce Thompson, the junior, in the gap, and he's going to bring him to the ground. So Moody has not been necessarily moving for 5 or 6 yards per carry, but he has certainly still been able to move the ball well. So this is going to bring up 2nd down and 10. They rule it as a gain of none. So the Cards going to move back. We've got Preston White lined up out wide to the left. It's Moody again. Bowser is the wing to the right side. Duncan presumably wing to the left. Bowser in motion. Carnegie steps back, tosses to Moody. Moody's got a couple of blockers. He's going to stutter and goes down right about at the line of scrimmage again. He may have gained 2 yards, but it's going to be 3rd down and long here for the Cards. I will bring up, however, we are well within Caden Dunback field goal range here. He hit a 43-yarder a couple of weeks ago against the Broncos, and Coach Steffen said, we're trying to find the school record, but we think if we give him good blocking and he's able to get a good snap, good hold, he could get up to 50, which I've got to think would be right out of school record, if not pushing it. And out come the Cardinals now, 3rd down and 8. We saw a long 3rd down earlier in this drive, and it was met by Moody, who got a 15-yard run to combat it. Duncan in motion. Carnegie looks to give. He's going to be play action, steps back, passes over to Bowser, and that one just goes off the hands. Bowser might have had a step, but it's off the hands for him. So it's 4th down and 8. And the Cardinals, interestingly enough, not quick to rush off the field. They are going to bring him back. So Carnegie going to go over and check with the play call. But we could be looking at a little bit of a decision to make here. Carnegie will go back out on the field. So we've got an early 4th down and 8 attempt for the Cardinals. They're inside the red zone. Presumably very makeable field goal range, but instead they are going to opt to try to go for it and get points on the board in a bigger way than just 3. Carnegie under center, Wildcat Arena getting noisy. He steps back, gives to Duncan, and Duncan shoots through a gap. He gets right up to the line to gain. He's up onto about the 9-yard line, and that would be good for a 1st down. We'll check and see what they give him, but he is right at the line to gain. Fascinating play call there. The Cards all seem to think they've got it. Officials confer. They say 1st down Cardinals. So a big 1st down on 4th and 8 on the ground nonetheless. Not the way you typically expect to see 4th and 8 approached, however. Not a whole lot of other ways the Cardinals could approach a long down other than to give it to their running backs and run it on the ground.
1st and goal from the 9-yard line.
3:41 to go in the 1st. Carnegie under center. He's got White lined up to his right side. Bowser in motion. They're going to block for Moody. Moody makes 1 man miss, 2 men miss, and he's going to be brought down about the 6-yard line over to the left side. So maybe a little bit of a tough start to the night for Grayson Moody, who has not been quite as impactful as he maybe would have liked to be, but he's still getting plus yards on the majority of his carries. And the Cards have shown to be maybe not prolific, but certainly capable of picking up those longer 3rd and 4th downs. Ball is on the 6-yard line officially. It's going to be 2nd down and goal to go. Preston White, again, the lone receiver up to the left side. Heavy set wing formation, looking like run personnel again for the Cards here, although they have thrown out of this formation already. Carnegie gives to Moody. Moody going to be met once again by Getterman, but he's going to get a yard or 2. Started on the 6, believe he got up to about the 3. They're going to rule him at the 4-yard line, so that's going to bring up 3rd and goal to go from the 4. 2:41 to go left here in quarter number 1. Now we know the Cards could absolutely. They are in range to get 3 points and take the lead today if they just hold on to the football. But we also have seen just a couple of minutes ago, they're not afraid to go for it on fourth if it comes to it. Carnegie under center, Preston White out to his right side. Bowser and Duncan the wings. He hands over to Duncan, misdirection. He makes one man miss, diving for the goal line. Oh, he is right there. They're going to rule him just shy. He trucked a couple of Wildcats and stuck the arm out, tried to reach that ball over the plane. They're going to rule him at about the 3/4 yard line. So now it's decision time. The Cards looking like they want to stay out once again. Coach Steffen going to chat it up with his quarterback. Carnegie heading back out, confidently running over to the formation. So it will be 4th down and goal from the 1 yard line, and the Cardinals will be going for it here. We are just under 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Cards, after a slow first drive, have run over 7 minutes of clock here thus far, and they're knocking on the door. Carnegie, ooh, a timeout called it seems. We'll see which side it goes. That was a timeout by the Cardinals. So they'll talk things over a little more, perhaps something Carnegie saw or something Coach Steffen didn't like. But a timeout is taken. The Cards will chat it up a little bit. We'll take a timeout as well. And we'll see you in just a minute in time for this 4th down and goal when we're back.
Charlie was born at LMH. We had a great team of nurses. Not only did they check in on us regularly, they always asked if we had questions, always made sure that we understood what was going on. I cannot say enough wonderful things about the labor and delivery, family birthing, and mother baby care team at LMH Health. We had to put our entire trust into their hands, and just everyone was so friendly and so supportive.
For the best care for your pet, choose DeSoto Veterinary Clinic. Dr.
All right, welcome back in here from Louisburg Wildcats Arena as it is 4th down and goal to go. 4th down and 1 effectively. They have it 4th and 0 on the board, but they are inside the 1 yard line here. Looks like it is Carnegie under center again. He's got Moody behind him with Bowser and Duncan the wings, as it's been all day long. White lined up to the right side. Carnegie waiting to gives over to Moody, and he reaches to the goal. Cardinals trying to signal touchdown, and the ref signals it too. Touchdown, Cardinals. So they will open up the scoring with 1:30 at the end of the first quarter. The Cardinals will then trot out the PAT unit to try to make it 7-0, but they drive down the field with a long second drive. After a quick 3 and out, they make it 6-0 with the PAT from Moody, it appears, instead of Dunback. So it is going to be the running back who just punched in the touchdown, Grayson Moody. Snap good, hold good, and Moody knocks it through. That's a good PAT. It is 7-0 Cardinals. We'll take you to a quick break. Then we're back with the remaining 90 seconds of the first quarter. Keep it here on Eudora Sports Live.
Charlie was born at LMH. We had a great team of nurses. Not only did they check in on us regularly, they always asked if we had questions, always made sure that we understood what was going on. I cannot say enough wonderful things about the labor and delivery, family birthing, and mother baby care team at LMH Health. We had to put our entire trust into their hands, and just everyone was so friendly and so supportive.
For the best care for your pet, choose DeSoto Veterinary Clinic. Dr. Matt Fair and his team are dedicated to providing high-quality medical care with compassion and a personal touch. They treat every pet as their own, ensuring they receive the attention and respect they deserve. For routine checkups, testing, vaccinations, chiropractic and acupuncture care.
And we are back to it here on Eudora Sports Live. The Cardinals getting ready to kick this one off. Back to the Wildcats after taking a 7-0 lead with a Moody run that drive after a quick 3 and out from the Cards and a 3 and out from the Wildcats. We had a Moody 15-yard run on 3rd down. Long drive from the Cards then, over 7 minutes long, which then ensued in a long Moody touchdown to cap that one off on 4th down. Here go the Wildcats. Oh, and a big run back. He's got all kinds of room, almost brought down by Moody. He is still on his feet, misses Duncan, and brought down at the 29-yard line of the Wildcats. Oh my goodness, the 29 of the Wildcats is where the drive will begin. They're inside the Cardinals 30, and we see some special teams woes for the Cards. I hadn't brought them up because last week they weren't particularly an issue. It does look to be a Wildcat over there getting some attention. But we didn't talk about special teams a whole lot last week because it didn't seem to be a big issue. But throughout the season, that had been an issue where the Cards just weren't doing a phenomenal job blocking on those kickoffs and punt returns, and returners were able to get a lot of space. There was actually an opening kick return touchdown and a punt return touchdown against the Hayden Topeka Wildcats in week 1. So the Wildcats going to start with phenomenal field position here. After it seemed like the Cards had taken firm control of the way this game was going in the first quarter, the Wildcats going to have a great opportunity to respond as they're officially going to be at the 34-yard line. Oh, and that's a big one. Looks like Martin Soto coming off over there for the Wildcats. He's one of the starting receivers, a senior. Number 11 right there. Man, we wish all the best to him. Hope it's something minor. But he goes down presumably trying to block for his man on the return. But he'll be helped off the field by some Wildcats training staff. And it looks like once again, Duncan out as a cornerback along with Moody. Bowser in as a safety, tight formation defensively for the Cards here as a ring of applause runs out for Soto. The give, Amron going to give off to Vose, who's going to get a couple and then be buried right past the line. He's going to go down at about the 25, it seems. That was a gain of 4, so he'll be officially second down and 6 from the 30-yard line. The 25, excuse me.
In the first quarter, 2nd and 6. The line gain is the 19 of Eudora.
This drive specifically, he had enough as well.
And here we go, back to formation. Amron under center. He's got a motion man. He's going to toss it back. Oh, almost lost the handle on it, but give it to Vose. And he's going to get upfield for just about a first down and be brought down by Long, along with Bowser and a couple of other Cardinals. And that one is going to move the chains. So a first down for the Wildcats. That's their first down conversion of the day. And now they seem to be putting themselves in a very, very favorable position to try to answer right back with a score of their own to match this one. As we come to a close at the first quarter, this likely be the last play if they run another. We've got 15 seconds left in the first quarter. A man out wide, that's Eastland. And Eastland going to give, oh, this one's going to go Amron to Vose again. Vose going to get upfield to about the 10-yard line before going down for another first down, perhaps. And we will cap off the first quarter with the Wildcats driving. But we're going to take you to a quick break as we bring to a close the first quarter. Cardinals 7, Wildcats 0, but knocking on the door of the red zone when we're back.
For the best care for your pet, choose DeSoto Veterinary Clinic. Dr. Matt Fair and his team are dedicated to providing high-quality medical care with compassion and a personal touch. They treat every pet as their own, ensuring they receive the attention and respect they deserve. For routine checkups, testing, vaccinations, chiropractic and acupuncture care, or surgical services, you can trust Dr. Fair and his team at DeSoto Veterinary Clinic. Call 913-585-1115 to schedule an appointment today or visit DeSotoVetClinic.com.
And we bring you back to us here from Louisburg Wildcat Arena. The Wildcats reversing field, but they are knocking on the door of trying to get a score of their own as they're on the 11-yard line of the Cardinals. It's 2nd down and 3. Amron has Vose in the backfield along with Thompson, and the give is going to be to Vose, and he's going to get a gain of maybe. He's going to get a first down of his own. That was a gain of about 5, and it's a fresh set of downs for the Wildcats. They look poised to try to rattle off a score of their own and tie this one up. We did see all the writing on the wall. Coach Steffen mentioned in the week prior leading up just a couple of days ago that these Wildcats are in all likelihood much better than their 1-3 record shows. They're trying to climb the ladder in the Frontier League and get themselves one step closer to 500. As Eastland and Getterman out the receivers. We've got Amron. He's going to hand off a give to Vose. Vose going to get a couple of blocks. He's got to dive for the pylon, and he's brought down just inside the 5. He's at about the 2-yard line. As Vose, a handful of carries on the day. He was forced out by Duncan with a little bit of help from Gavin Etter. So now that's going to bring up 2nd down and goal to go from the 2 for the Wildcats. Play call being given to Max Amron there as we come all the way back from that break. We're looking at just under a minute into the 2nd quarter, and we could have a tie ball game on our hands once again. After a phenomenal drive by the Cards, the Wildcats have answered back with an equally strong drive of their own. As there'll be 2nd and goal to go here. Amron going to get under center once again. He's got Thompson and he's got Vose right behind him. Cards defense inching up. They're ready for the run. It's going to be a toss over to Vose. Little misdirection. No, it's going to be a keeper from Amron. Amron going to float it, and he's on an open man. It's picked off inside the end zone. Colton Bowser grabbed that one out of thin air. There was an open receiver in the back corner, but Colton Bowser steps up out of nowhere to pick off Amron and give the Cards possession. And just like that, the Wildcats' potential scoring drive is shut down in a heartbeat. Cards defense celebrating it. Super amped up and excited. Carnegie going to get the play call. I believe the Cards are going to be starting this drive inside the 10. The ball looks to be spotted at the 9, so they are inside their own dread zone, as we have so called it. Of course, when you're marching down the field and you get in your opponent's 20-yard line, that is the red zone, but we like to call it the dread zone when they're inside their own 20, because you're inside the right numbers, but not on the right side of them, as the Cards are going to be backed quite a ways up. But this is how that first scoring drive ensued. They started from inside their own 20 on that drive as well, and marched off the field with a score almost 10 minutes later. Carnegie going to get under center. He's got, Carnegie in the shotgun. He's got Moody next to him. The give is going to be to Moody. He's going to get through the first level. The second level, Moody gets almost a first down, and he'll be brought down just outside the 20-yard line. He's going to be down at the 19. And that is going to give a fresh set of downs to the Cards. There's a first down carry of about 10 for Moody, as he is getting this drive kicked off well. The Cards almost out of their own dread zone after just one play. Got purple glow sticks and all down here below us as the Louisburg crowd gets ready for the homecoming celebrations that we will have at halftime. But still about 10 minutes away, that is, of game time. We've got Carnegie in the shotgun once again. A little bit of a shift here. Carnegie gives over to Moody. Moody is going to be tracked down and brought down after a gain of maybe 5. So they are now outside of the 20-yard lines. He's going to be spotted at about the 24, so it'll be 2nd down and short. They'll rule it a 4-yard carry. So now the Cards just go back to business, doing what they had done so well throughout the rest of the day, just being methodical, doing things smoothly. Good carries, wearing down that defensive line slowly but surely. And that's about all you can ask for in this Wildcats defense. In turn, will become worn down quickly. We've got Preston White along with Gavin Etter out in the fold as receivers. Carnegie in the shotgun, takes a snap again, gives over to Moody. Moody going to get a gain of a couple, and he's brought down. No, keeps fighting through. He's going to get almost to the sticks. Once again, that may be another first down for the Cards, and they will start to move those chains. There you go, the official call. So it's another first down for the Eudora Cardinals. And we mentioned last week, as you see drives move on like this and you get deeper into the game through the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter even, running the ball just gets easier, right? You're getting tired, but so is the defensive line opposite you. We saw that against the Cyclones last week, where by the end of the second quarter, Duncan and Moody were falling forward for an additional 3 or 4 yards on just about every carry as the Cyclones were starting to get gassed out. It's going to be Etter in motion. Carnegie gives the handoff to Moody once again. Moody going to follow a blocker, and he's going to get upfield to about the, looks like he's going to be getting about to the 38-yard line, which is going to have him close to get another first down. Doesn't look like he'll get it, so it's going to be 2nd down and very short, about a yard or 2, as the Cards inch their way up on midfield. And we haven't cut you to commercial breaks. We're just keeping you here because there's not a whole lot of pauses. Running the ball like this means this clock is just winding on down. The Cards got this ball right at the start of the first quarter, right at the start of the second quarter, and there's already 4 minutes off the clock, and they are not even halfway down the field Just shows how strong running the ball can be. It's Carnegie in the shotgun once again. Gives to Moody. Moody gonna little stumble in the backfield. He's gonna be brought down after a gain of maybe 1. Most likely gonna be right back to the line of scrimmage, so it'll be 3rd down and short now. Carnegie gonna come on back to coach and check in. Kloeb's gonna come out. Bowser gonna come on in. And Eder will check out in place of Keelan Duncan. So Kloeb's and Eder out. Duncan and Bowser come in for this 3rd down and 1 from the 38-yard line. And we saw just how effective the Cards could be on those 3rd and 4th downs on their previous drive. Converted numerous 3rd and longs and a 4th and long on the ground nonetheless. And back to the original formation. It'll be White out to the left side. Carnegie under center. He's got Duncan in motion. Moody the back to his left. He's going to give to Moody. Moody going to make one-man miss. Get back to the line of scrimmage. That's a 1st down and just a little bit more. He's going to go down after a gain of about 3. And that's going to bring the Cards past their own 40-yard line and move the chains for yet another Cardinals 1st down.
4 yards to Moody.
One spot. It looked like he was supposed to be a little shorter.
Getterman and will stop.
He really forcing his way.
Assisted by Jack Cleaning.
For Eudora. Doing a good portion.
Drive continues. 1st and 10. Line of scrimmage is the Eudora 42. The line gain is the Louisburg 48.
And the Cards going to come on back to the line here for another 1st down and 10. We're looking at just over 7 minutes left to go in the half on the clock. In the shotgun once again is Carnegie. He's got Moody over to his left side. He's going to give to White. White gets an end around. He's going to make 1-man miss, 2 miss. He's all the way past the 2nd level into the secondary, and he will go down at the 40-yard line. That's a gain of almost 20. Looks like about a 19-yard gain, somewhere in that vicinity. Otis out on the field now too. The clock will keep running, and Preston White with another one of those highlight-worthy plays. We mentioned it last week. He doesn't get a ton of touches. You don't see him get a lot of catches necessarily in this run-heavy offense. But when he does get those touches and contact, he almost always pays it off in some way or another. And there's going to be no running back, no receiver out wide. It's a tight wing set once again. Carnegie along with Moody, Hubler, and White. He's going to give over to Des Hubler. Des Hubler has an end around. He's got a blocker. He's going to get a 1st down and go down. Oh, no, he's still on his feet. Moody, oh, my goodness. Des Hubler gets over the 30-yard line. Just stayed on his feet and kept rolling. Wasn't going to make a joke about height, but, of course, one of the smaller players on the roster. Perhaps low center of gravity, a little bit tougher to get his hands on. But that's 2 consecutive big runs for the Cards as we creep even closer to the end zone and to the end of the 1st half. And a timeout taken by Louisburg. That's their 1st of the half. We'll do the same. We'll be right back with you when we're back. It's another 1st and 10 for the Cards on Eudora Sports Live.
At Kansas Insurance, we know one size doesn't fit all. In fact, our whole mindset is based on customized policies for you and your families. We're local, and we do what we do because we care about you. Think of us as brokers for your insurance needs. Working with Kansas Insurance gets you the award-winning service and attention to detail that only an independent agency can provide. All across Kansas, we're here to help you manage and plan for all types of risk. Contact a local agent today. Kansas Insurance. Local, independent, serving you.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here.
All right, back here from the timeout on Eudora Sports Live. The Cards officially spotted on the 29-yard line, and it's 1st down and 10. Back-to-back big carries from Preston White for about 20-plus yards, and then Des Hubler picks up a 1st down once again. So back-to-back big plays on the ground, neither of which from Duncan or Moody. Looks to be Duncan behind Carnegie, who's under center. Bowser in motion. Carnegie tosses over to Duncan. Duncan going to get up to a couple of his blockers, keeps fighting through contact. He's going to go down just outside the 20-yard line. He's about at the 23, it appears, and that's going to be close to 1st down yardage, but it'll bring up 2nd down and short for the Cards. The sun just about completely set over Wildcat Stadium here. A beautiful place we are, by the way. The facilities are wonderful. We thank all the Louisburg faithful. And, of course, Drake Miller and the whole Louisburg Sports Live crew hanging out with me here tonight. As we thank everyone watching with us as we bring you 2nd down and 4 here, under 6 minutes to go. So getting ever closer to the end of the half. Carnegie going to get set up. He's got Julian Otis, his receiver, along with Kloeb's. Wing to his left. He's got Duncan in tow behind him. Carnegie gives the snap to Duncan. Duncan going to get upfield. He's past the 20, and he'll go down past the 15. So that's first down yardage, and he is almost to the 10-yard line, but that one will break the Cards into the red zone this time. So no matter how the drive ends, that's official. The Cards have gone from dread zone to red zone and run about half of the second quarter away while doing it. And this is the point where the Wildcats defense, as any defense would, you're just starting to see the hands on the hips, breathing heavy. As a running team like this, as they go further and further and further, can just wear on you so heavily. So this next first down going to be Otis out to the right, their lone receiver again. Duncan, still the running back in formation. It's going to be Carnegie, toss over to Duncan. He gives him the pitch to the right side. Duncan makes one man miss, two men miss. He's diving towards the pylon. He's going to get into the 5-yard line. Right at the 5, goes inbounds, so the clock will keep on running. And that should bring up first down and goal to go. Oh no, it's going to be a second down because the first down marker is right around the 3-yard line, and he did not quite get there. So they're going to rule him 2nd and 2 at the 5, which in the sense of running clock, it's really ideal for the Cardinals if they could get a first down without scoring and just run that much more time off to try to take a 2-possession lead without leaving much room for an attempt at an answer. White, the receiver, out now. Carnegie under center once again. Now Moody, the back. He gives to Moody up the center. Moody makes a man truck him. He goes right through the defenders for the Wildcats for a Cardinals touchdown. With just over 4 minutes to go here in the first half, the Cardinals answer once again with another long touchdown drive. Grayson Moody gets his 2nd touchdown of the night, and we'll bring it now out to the attempt at the PAT. Looks like Moody in to kick once again with Carnegie the holder, so you wonder if maybe something going on with Caden Dunback, if there's a reason we're not seeing him in the fold as much tonight. Moody has done the kickoffs for most of the year, but Duncan has been the man on the PATs. But nonetheless, Moody did knock the first one through. Good snap, good hold, and he knocks through the next one. So it's 14-0 for the Eudora Cardinals as we bring things up just a little bit closer to the end of the second half. The Cardinals will be on defense next, and it'll be the Wildcats' turn at a rebuttal. When we're back, it'll be more from the second quarter here on Eudora Sports Live. Keep it here. We'll be right back.
Charlie was born at LMH. We had a great team of nurses. Not only did they check in on us regularly, they always asked if we had questions, always made sure that we understood what was going on. I cannot say enough wonderful things about the labor and delivery, family birthing, and mother baby care team at LMH Health. We had to put our entire trust into their hands, and just everyone was so friendly and so supportive.
For the best care for your pet, choose DeSoto Veterinary Clinic. Dr. Matt Fair and his team are dedicated to providing high-quality medical care with compassion and a personal touch. They treat every pet as their own, ensuring they receive the attention and respect they deserve. For routine checkups, testing, vaccinations, chiropractic and acupuncture care, or surgical services, you can trust Dr. Fair and his team at DeSoto Veterinary Clinic.
All right, we welcome you back in here from Louisburg Wildcat Arena, home of the Wildcats. We're surrounded by purple. You'd think we're sitting in K-State at the moment, but it's Moody getting ready to kick off here. The Cards looking at a 14-0 lead after yet another very long touchdown drive capped off by a 5-yard rushing touchdown from Grayson Moody. And meanwhile, Moody going to give the boot here a long kick, going to send that one out of the end zone. And that'll be a touchback to start for the Wildcats as we bring out the offense, and they look to answer before the end of the half, where the Cards defense, inevitably, you would think they're going to try to do all they can to get this ball back and maybe give the Cards an opportunity to take a 21-0 lead going into the locker room. As out comes Amron and Vose. And the rest of this Wildcats offense, which has had flashes tonight, certainly not been without capability, but it's just been difficult to capitalize on those moments. You had the big end zone interception on their last possession from Amron. That was one where they were very likely going to tie this game up at 7 apiece, and instead, Cards picked off by Colton Bowser in the end zone, and the Cards then ensue a near 10-minute drive to take the lead even bigger to 14-0.
Three receivers set, one back.
And Amron going to keep this one. No, it's a speed pitch option. He's going to give it off to Vose, and Vose going to get just about back to the original line of scrimmage. So that's a gain of maybe 1 if they're going to be generous. So that'll bring up second down and either 9 or 10. Clock still ticking. I'm interested to see how much urgency we get from the Wildcats here. See if their attempt is to put on maybe not a 2-minute drill, but maybe a 3-minute drill. Try to run as much yardage as they can while taking up as little of the clock as possible. But so far, not a ton of urgency. We've got a 4-receiver set here. 2 receivers out wide to the left in a bunch, 2 out to the right in a bunch. And Amron going to take the shot on this one. Takes the snap. He's going to follow his blocker, Vose. He's going to get through the first level of the defense, and he's going to be met quickly after that and brought down for a gain of about 2. So it's going to bring up 3rd down and long. Looks like it'll be 3rd and 6, the official ruling here. So that ball is set right about the 24-yard line.
24. The line gain is right at the 30. 3rd and 6.
So Amron hasn't had a bad day so far. We've seen a lot of capability from both Amron on the ground and Vose has looked unbelievable. That's the senior Blaze Vose. He's just struggled a little bit to get a whole lot rolling. This very disciplined Cardinal defense has not let him get a lot. Amron going to take the snap here. He's got a man in motion. Creeping up toward the line of the Cardinals. Amron going to take the snap. He's got a man open. That's going to be just about 1st down yardage. He'll go down just shy of the 1st down, it looks like. No, they will move the chains on that one. So that's a 1st down for the Wildcats. A pass from Max Amron to John Getterman. So that's Getterman grabbing up that 1st down. It's just a simple hitch concept in the middle of the field. Looked like some form of zone defense from the Cardinals, and they just left a little bit of a gap open. Just settled into that soft spot in the zone and takes the catch and fights for the 1st down. So another 1st down for the Wildcats as they try to move that much closer to the end zone. It's going to be a snap from Amron. He's going to give over to Vose. Vose going to keep. He's going to get to the 1st level and shove a handful of them. He'll get about 4, it appears. He was met in the gap by Newt Schreiner, along with Riley Nice, your first 2 there. Now 1:50 to go. We're getting very close to halftime. We've cut off almost half the time since the Wildcats got the ball. And they have not been ineffective, but they do not seem to be in a whole lot of a hurry. You almost wonder if they're just going to try to hold on to possession for as long as they can and bring this one home at 14-0 at half. But the Cards do have an opportunity here, 2nd down and 7, to try to get the ball back, get aggressive, call some timeouts, and have themselves another shot at scoring. It's going to be man in motion. Amron going to take the snap. He's looking to his left, looking to his right, tosses over into the backfield, and that one is off the hands of Vose. So it's going to bring up 3rd down and 7. I almost wondered if that was going to be ruled a fumble, but they say incomplete pass on that one. So it'll be 3rd down and 7 from the 34-yard line of the Wildcats. That one, for the first time on this possession, stops the clock. So we've got 1:12 to go officially. And if I'm the Cardinals, I think I would be truly trying to get this ball back. Of course, you didn't need to use the timeout there because of the incompletion, which stops the clock. But if you're able to get a sack or they run the ball and you're not able to get the 1st down, I would certainly be calling timeouts if I'm the Cardinals to try to get this ball back and go up 3 scores into the break. It's Amron sitting in the shotgun. He's got Vose behind him. 3 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. He's looking, fires to the solo man. That's 13. Wide open man. Just made Eder look silly there, and that's going to be past the 50-yard line. That was Logan Amaya. Or I'm sorry, Aiden Filkins. There is a flag on the play. We'll catch the ruling there, but it was Filkins with the big-time catch. Shook Eder on the curl route. And the Wildcats looking proficient through the air. As we mentioned, that was the main knock on the Cards' defense, as here's the rule from the ref. Doesn't seem that they're moving the ball. Oh, they are. They're going to move it up quite a bit, so that was a penalty. That was a face mask on the Cardinals. So they're going to move back an additional 15 yards after the gain. So that was about a 15-yard catch.
Makes for a 33-yard net play. And now they're inside the 45, or the 35, excuse me.
And this one going to be taken by Amron. He's got pressure in his face, just going to have to get rid of it. And he was being pursued by Brock Long and Riley Nice. Immediately got into the backfield. Jumped right through the A and B gaps and were all over Amron. He had to get rid of that one quickly. So that's going to bring up 2nd down and long now. But they are still on the plus side of the 35-yard line there at the 34 officially, with just under 60 ticks left to go in the 1st half.
Still have 2 timeouts.
Amron lined up in the shotgun here. He's got Vose behind him once again, going to take the snap. Hands off to Vose. Vose going to get through the first level, second level, and he's going to push forward for a gain of about 6, it appears. And that will keep the clock moving. You wonder if you see any timeouts called. Neither team has used one yet. And there a timeout was taken by the Wildcats. So we'll go ahead and keep you here. We can talk things over a little bit. The Wildcats have put on a fairly impressive possession here as they've successfully taken just about every bit of that 4 minutes that they had when they got the opening kick for this possession, and they've run just about all of that down. And you don't know what their kicking situation looks like, but if we go off of what the kickoffs have looked like, if they get another 8 to 10 yards, you would actually feel pretty good about trying to take a field goal and get points before the end of the half. Of course, we know they're looking for more, looking for a touchdown. 28 yards out with just under a minute to go and 2 timeouts in your back pocket. You certainly have room to be aggressive. But this has been a really impressive drive. That face mask from the Cardinals really stings a bit. That's what moved them into plus territory, but make no mistake about it, that Filkins reception was good for almost 20 yards on its own, so the face mask was not the sole reason the Wildcats have gotten this far. Make no mistake about it, they have been efficient and effective on this drive without any assistance from mistakes on the Cardinals side. Some of that aggressiveness in the Cards defense looks to be pushed away as they're just sitting on the back foot now, trying not to go backwards any further. Amron has Vose lined up behind him. Single back formation here. He's got 2 receivers to his left and his right. He's going to take the snap and run it. Makes one man miss, gets through a gap, and he's going to slide upfield to get inside the 20. So that's a first down on 3rd and 4. And a fresh set of downs for the Wildcats. Clock is still running. We're under 40 to go. Amron loses the snap. He's going to have to get back on it and go down. And he's tapped out by Riley Nice. So that's going to move him back to about the 29-yard line. So that moves him back to almost the 30-yard line. Just looked like a low snap. Amron couldn't get a good hand to it. So that's the final timeout of the half by Louisburg. Trying to lose as little time as possible. Of course, losing the yardage and getting tapped down, that is a running clock, so they had to do that. Otherwise, they would have lost just about every bit of time they had left in this first half. And even if you don't have timeouts left, you can certainly still have at least one play in bounds and then try to get back to the line, snap it, spike the ball to try to save time, or you can just keep taking shots at the end zone. We know this Cardinals secondary has been the weak point of this very strong defense. Each player individually very good in their own right, but just cohesiveness as a unit on deeper passes has been a problem. Last week you saw the Cyclones over and over on 3rd and 4th down were able to get deep passes to go in their favor. So you wonder if the Wildcats know that from doing their research, but they've got the Cards stretched thin in the secondary here as we approach 2nd down and 20 from the 29-yard line. 32 ticks to go left in the first half. Amron, 3 receivers, strong side to the left. He's looking. He gets a block from his running back. Lets this one fly, and it's over the hands of Braxton Eastland, the sophomore. He had Des Hubler and Colton Bowser over there in coverage. And they are able to do the same, essentially the same thing that happened to Preston White earlier, which is just tight coverage, force Amron to put the ball in basically one spot only for it to be catchable. It's a very tough throw in a very tough spot. He just wasn't quite able to put it where he needed to put it. So that brings up now 3rd down and 20 from just inside the 30-yard line. You've got almost 30 seconds left, but you can't just take shots anymore. You have got to get a first down. They would have to get inside the 10-yard line to get a first down here. Amron lined up with Bunch to his right side. One running back, that's Vose. Vose going to block. He's got Amron going to run, trying to get to the line of scrimmage, and he will be met by Marks along with Brock Long and will not even get that. Presumably a timeout will be taken here by the Cards, you would think. They are not, so the clock will run. And it's going to be a field goal attempt, but we've got under 10 seconds left. The clock is running here. They've got to get set. We're looking at 6, 5, 4, 3. Snap is off. Good hold, and that one is tipped at the line, it looked like. It's going to fall over to the left side harmlessly. Ooh, perhaps a flag on this one. We may be looking at a penalty on the Cards, which would give an untimed down to the Wildcats here. We'll await the official call, but the kick was no good. It looked as if it was batted at the line or knocked down by a Cards defender. Wasn't even remotely close. Looked like it had good power coming off, but was knocked off course. You got to think something is going to be I would think it's something procedural, something with the setup, because of course such a quick rush setup for that field goal attempt. They snapped it with about 2 seconds left. It means there's a very high likelihood that someone on one side or the other was lined up in the wrong spot. The question now is going to be, who was it? Because if it was against the Cardinals, Louisburg may get another shot. If it was against the Wildcats, that will very likely be the end of the first half.
Prior to the snap, encroachment on the defense.
Wow, so it was encroachment on the defense.
The clock will start on the snap because the penalty was on the defense.
It'll be down at the 25.
So they did give them a little bit of progress from the 30-yard line. It's moved to the 25. And because it was encroachment, which means one of the Cardinals players moved too early, got into the neutral zone when they weren't supposed to, it's going to be another chance at it. 2 seconds left on the clock. It's going to be a long field goal attempt. Looks like about 47 yards from Vose. Oh, decent hold. Vose has to go low for it, and that one's blocked. Knocked down. It's going to be presumably picked up by a Wildcat. But regardless, that will be the end of the first half. The hold was a bit high to the point where Amron had to set it down. Vose had to stop his step, preload for it, and load up again, which just gave the Cards time to get there. So that's a blocked field goal to end the half. We'll take you to a quick break. It is 14-0 Cardinals at the end of half number 1. We'll send you to a quick break, and then it's back to discuss everything that happened there on the halftime show. Keep it here on Eudora Sports Live.
At Kansas Insurance, we know one size doesn't fit all. In fact, our whole mindset is based on customized policies for you and your families. We're local, and we do what we do because we care about you. Think of us as brokers for your insurance needs. Working with Kansas Insurance gets you the award-winning service and attention to detail that only an independent agency can provide. All across Kansas, we're here to help you manage and plan for all types of risk. Contact a local agent today. Kansas Insurance. Local, independent, service.
Everybody can make something, because I think everyone has a spark of creativity, and the reason that I have to keep making is because I don't think my life would be as fulfilling without it. If you make things yourself, that means you're not cowering in fear. You're out there taking chances. That, I think, is my way of saying I love you to the world. All right, now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
I used to drive an ambulance as an EMT, and I've always tried to be a safe driver. If people knew what I know, lives could be saved. In my car, if I see a truck or bus taking a turn, I know to take my time. When big vehicles turn right, they may swing wide to make the turn. If you try to sneak in, well, it's a lesson you'd rather not learn the hard way. When trucks and buses turn, let's you and I wait. It's our roads, it's our safety.
Hey, I'm Mike Grope, here today to encourage you to connect with 811 before you dig.
And I'm Micro, and I'm here because I love to dig in the dirt.
It's true. He's also here because he's very small and not that bright.
Here, for instance, we can see Micro doing what he loves to do.
And here we can see the consequences of not doing what he should have done. Dude, why didn't you call 811?
I forgot the number.
See? Not that bright.
Number one, obviously, is safety. We definitely call 811 to find out if there are any buried lines, fiber optic, whether it be telephone or pipeline or anything. Don't take a chance. Don't think you know and say, well, I don't remember anything being put in there. Call 811 and make sure that that's identified, that there isn't something there before you make that crossing. Because in the end, we want everybody going home.
For the best care for your pet, choose DeSoto Veterinary Clinic. Dr. Matt Fair and his team are dedicated to providing high-quality medical care with compassion and a personal touch. They treat it.
Welcome in, everybody, to the Eudora Sports Live halftime show, brought to you by Attic Storage of Eudora. Attic offers climate-controlled units, RV and vehicle storage, plus clean, move-in ready spaces. As a veteran-owned, community-focused business, Attic features monitored 24/7 access with friendly on-site managers. Rent, reserve, and pay online anytime at attic-storage.com. As we bring the wild first half to a close, the Cardinals sit 14-0 is the advantage. Both teams had a fairly Not a ton to speak of on the first couple of drives. The Cards immediately went 3 and out. Not great field position, and they weren't able to do a whole lot with it. Wildcats did a great job stifling Grayson Moody at the line of scrimmage. So a quick punt from the Cardinals on their opening reception of the game then led to another drive by the Wildcats, and the Cards defense did their job and forced a 3 and out as well. So that one was pulled even, essentially. No gain from either team, no points scored. Then the Cardinals' second possession. That was a long one. Almost 10 minutes of clock was run on that first scoring drive by the Cardinals. Their second drive of the game was kicked off by a third down run. I believe it was 3rd down and 8. And Grayson Moody went forward for about 15 yards. And that was sort of the catalyst, the powder keg that seemed to kick off that long drive by the Cards. It was Moody and Duncan most of the way. Unique formations from the Cards, which we hadn't seen a ton of early on. It was a lot of Houston Carnegie under center, as we had seen a lot of this season. And that long drive included a 4th and 8. Once they got past midfield, it was just nice, steady progress. Then once they got past the 50-yard line, there was a 4th down and 8 inside field goal range. I expected the Cardinals to just trot out the kicking unit with Caden Dunn back and take the long field goal, which we know he's capable of. But for whatever reason, they did not take the field goal. They brought out instead Keelan Duncan. It was pass formation, seemed to be everything hinted at the Cardinals passing that football as you would think a team would on 4th down and long. Instead, it went straight into the hands of Keelan Duncan, who pushed through the second level and got right to the marker to get a 1st down on 4th and 8. And that drive was then capped off by another 4th down conversion by Grayson Moody. That was a short 4th and goal that he went right through the line on and converted. So that was 7-0 Cardinals. Then from there was a long drive from the Wildcats that ensued. They looked like they were going to march right down the field and tie things up at 7 apiece. And they were in the end zone inside the 10-yard line. And Amron took the snap on kind of a boot out to his left side, rolled out, had a man open in the back corner, tried to just give a little touch pass to him, and that one was picked off and intercepted by Colton Bowser. Went down in the end zone, ran it out to about the 10-yard line, and therefore the Cardinals kicked off another long drive. They went almost 8 minutes of possession this time. Pieces of note past midfield on that one. They were driving right to left on this drive on your screen. Preston White had an end around for 20-plus yards that got them past the 50-yard line. Then immediately after that, Des Hubler had another end around, which was to the opposite side, and got yet another 1st down gain. And they marched closer and closer, and that one was capped off by a second Grayson Moody touchdown. So it's been a fairly even split for the Cards tonight. Grayson Moody has probably gotten slightly more carries, but that second drive was almost entirely Keelan Duncan on the back end. He got a lot of consecutive carries, I think more than I've seen him get this whole season thus far. Grayson Moody not even in the formation for a handful of plays. It was just Duncan over and over and over. However, Grayson Moody does end up with a touchdown, so he's got the lone 2 touchdowns of the day. The Wildcats weren't done yet, though. They got the ball back with about 4 minutes left to go in the second half. And they brought it all the way down close to midfield. There was also a long curl route that was kicked off by Aiden Filkins. That pass went Amron to Filkins. He got close to 20 yards alone, but then there was a face mask by the Cardinals. We haven't seen a lot of those penalties rear their head today, but on that case it did, and that penalty tacked 15 additional yards onto that carry and catch by Filkins, which put the Wildcats well into Cardinals territory with just a minute or so left in the game, left in the half. You certainly thought they were going to get their field goal or even maybe get their touchdown. A couple of the shots at the end zone were knocked down. Eastland had a near catch in the back corner of the end zone that Hubler had good coverage on, and it ended up at 3rd down and 20. The Wildcats were forced to try to take a field goal. They went down on that 3rd and 20. There was a run attempt by Amron that was stuffed, so the Wildcats had to set up very quickly for an impromptu field goal attempt that was tipped away and just no good. So the field goal was no good, but then there was a flag kicked on the field. The Cardinals committed encroachment, which means they essentially went over the line of scrimmage and touched someone on the other side. So that was similar to an offsides penalty, so that gave 2 more seconds on the clock, and the Wildcats got yet another attempt at it, in which from about 5 yards closer. On that one, the snap was a little bit high. Amron had to grab it and wrangle it down. Vose had to stop his step and load up for it again, in which case gave the Cards time to get over both sides of the offensive line blocking, and they were able to knock that one down and block it. So we come to the end of the first half. 14 Cardinals, 0 Wildcats. However, I don't think the score completely tells the story of this one. We'll talk a little bit more about the stats, in particular, a little more of the nitty-gritty, but that was your brief recap of the first half. We'll take you to a quick break, 12 minutes to go, then we'll discuss a little more of the finer stats when we're back.
At Kansas Insurance, we know one size doesn't fit all. In fact, our whole mindset is based on customized policies for you and your families. We're local, and we do what we do because we care about you. Think of us as brokers for your insurance needs. Working with Kansas Insurance gets you the award-winning service and attention to detail that only an independent agency can provide. All across Kansas, we're here to help you manage and plan for all types of risk. Contact a local agent today. Kansas Insurance. Local, independent, serving you.
Everybody can make something, because I think everyone has a spark of creativity, and the reason that I have to keep making is because I don't think my life would be as fulfilling without it. If you make things yourself, that means you're not cowering in fear. You're out there taking chances. That, I think, is my way of saying I love you to the world. All right, now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
I used to drive an ambulance as an EMT, and I've always tried to be a safe driver. If people knew what I know, lives could be saved. In my car, if I see a truck or bus taking a turn, I know to take my time. When big vehicles turn right, they may swing wide to make the turn. If you try to sneak in, well, it's a lesson you'd rather not learn the hard way. When trucks and buses turn, let's you and I wait. It's our roads, it's our safety.
Hey, I'm Mike Grope, here today to encourage you to connect with 811 before you dig.
And I'm Micro, and I'm here because I love to dig in the dirt.
It's true. He's also here because he's very small and not that bright.
Here, for instance, we can see Micro doing what he loves to do.
And here we can see the consequences of not doing what he should have done. Dude, why didn't you call 811?
I forgot the number.
See? Not that bright.
Number one, obviously, is safety. We definitely call 811 to find out if there are any buried lines, fiber optic, whether it be telephone or pipeline or anything. Don't take a chance. Don't think you know and say, well, I don't remember anything being put in there. Call 811 and make sure that that's identified, that there isn't something there before you make that crossing. Because in the end, we want everybody going home.
For the best care for your pet, choose DeSoto Veterinary Clinic. Dr. Matt Fair and his team are dedicated to providing high-quality medical care with compassion and a personal touch. They treat every pet as their own, ensuring they receive the attention and respect they
All right, bringing it back to you here on the halftime show, presented by Attic Storage of Eudora. Briefly discussed there a little rundown of how the first half played out across the first quarter and the second. Now we look at some of the finer stats and some of the analysis as to what the Cardinals should do in the second half, what the Wildcats can do in the second half, and the way we think this one may play out based on what we've seen thus far here in Wildcat Arena, home of the Louisburg Wildcats. But off of that, the end of that second quarter, there's a lot to digest there, a lot of, surprisingly, not as much criticism as you would think you could put on the Cardinals, despite only having 14 points in the first half, which would have been quite a bit, but over the last couple weeks, we've gotten accustomed to maybe seeing a little bit more than 14 points in that first half. However, those two drives took up close to 20 minutes of game time on their own. Just those two drives, not counting that long drive from Louisburg near the end of the first quarter and the one they had with those final 4 minutes of the second quarter. But the Cards have done their job fairly well tonight. We know Coach Steffen is, of course, going to want more. That face mask is likely going to get brought up quite a bit. That was a big catalyst in why the Wildcats were threatening to score so much at the end of the second quarter to begin with. Of course, they did have that reception from Filkins that put them on the plus side of the 50-yard line, but if not for that face mask, they may not be much closer than that. Instead, they were knocking on the door of entering the red zone and could have gone for the touchdown or the field goal. If not for the face mask, they may not have that opportunity. We did see the encroachment call again from the Cards at the end of the second quarter on that kick that gave the Wildcats another shot at it. And neither of those two, of course, neither of those mistakes on that drive were paid off by the Wildcats, but it's just a matter of cleaning things up, right? Where you want to give the opposing team as few chances as physically possible to get back into the game. And against a team like the Wildcats, we know they're well coached. Coach Harding has been doing this for quite a while. He's led a lot of really strong teams. The Wildcats started last season 7-0, ended the year 7-2. And that 7-0 included a 42-14 dominant win over the Cardinals in Eudora last year. So we know this team can take advantage of opportunities when given to them. We know they snapped a 3-game losing streak last week, trying to stay in the win column here. 14-0 is not a lot to come back from. Keep in mind, we saw the Cardinals do just that last week. They went down into a 14-0 hole against the Ottawa Cyclones almost immediately. However, within the span of that same quarter, they flipped it on their head and actually took the lead by a touchdown before the Cyclones tied that one back up heading into the half. I think Coach Steffen's definitely going to have quite a bit he's critical of at this point. He's going to want slightly better ball control. He's going to want less procedural penalties, but they have, all things considered, cleaned that up a fair bit at this point in the night. The Wildcats, I think the main key for them is going to be trying to play as tight of defense as they can. We've already seen them do a fairly good job of containing both Grayson Moody and Keelan Duncan. They've, of course, had some break-off runs, but for the most part, not a lot has been going the way of the Cards on the ground in a huge way. Which means the Wildcats could very well start to force some 3-and-outs and get the ball back. And that's a tall order in and of itself. And after they do that, they would then have to cap off some of those long drives. We've seen them in the first half here. We saw 2 long drives in particular where they were getting first downs and were capable of moving the ball. It's just going to be a matter of not only getting good possessions that you're proud of, but also possessions that you cap off with scores, because down 14-0, it looked good, isn't quite enough. As of course, this team knows that well, and they're going to come out swinging with all they've got in the second half. And I think the main key for the Cards is going to be continuing to do what you've been doing for the most part. You want to run the ball well, you want to play good defense. This team in the penalty side does look more, quote, locked in, as Coach Steffen was saying in the week prior to this game. They've done a lot of things really well. Of course, there's always going to be things to clean up, but all things considered, a very, very good first half for your Cardinals. If they're able to do that once again, have long possessions, even if you're not scoring on every single one, they have the luxury of being up 2 touchdowns, which means if you have a 5 or 6 minute drive and you end up punting away or forbid a turnover, if that were to happen, it wouldn't necessarily be the end of the world, because your main goal here is just going to be to run clock. They're going to have 24 more minutes of game time once we kick off half number 2 that they've just got to survive. And we know they're going to want to get more touchdowns and run up the scoreboard more. And at this point, that 2-headed monster of Duncan and Moody at running back, we know is just going to get more and more impactful as the game goes on. They're going to have larger gaps to run through. They should keep in theory, both players will keep their energy and not gas out very quickly, because neither of them are taking a full game's worth of snaps. There were a couple of formations in the first half where you had both Moody and Duncan in the fold. Even if they're not getting carries, those do add up a little bit on the players' endurance. But Coach Steffen did have both of them on the sideline for their fair share, which means you'd think both players are relatively fresh. Houston Carnegie looked very capable of operating the offense. He was doing a good job when he needed to take off with his feet. He had a throw to Preston White that was oh so close to being completed. Preston White probably scores on a long touchdown. That pass would have put him at about the 10-yard line if he caught it, and it was just off his fingertips. Essentially the same thing we saw with that Eastland incompletion that Des Hubler was covering for the Wildcats. It was a lot of the same, where Preston White was just had a step on his DB, but it was tightly won, so it just puts Houston Carnegie in a spot where he had to put the ball in really one spot and one spot only. It's just tough to make that play happen, but the Cards had a very good first half. I think if they're able to repeat most of what they did there, they will put themselves in beautiful position to bring this one all the way home and try to improve to 4-1 on the year, 4-0 in the Frontier League, which would keep them in solo possession of number 1. As we go back to some of Eudora offensive stats, coming in the first half, passing stats, Houston Carnegie had 2 attempts, 0 completions. Grayson Moody had 18 carries for 89 yards and 2 touchdowns. Keelan Duncan had 6 carries for 51 yards in his own right. So both Duncan and Moody, 89 and 51 carries on the ground respectively, 24 touches for those 2 runners in the first half. Preston White had 1 run for 17 yards. That was that end around. Then Des Hubler subsequently followed that up with 1 run of his own for 12 yards. Colton Bowser, 1 carry for 13 yards, and Houston Carnegie, 1 rush for -2 yards. That was that sack that we saw him take on early on in the game, where he tried to toss it back to Duncan, and Duncan then tossed it back to Carnegie, so that went down as a 2-yard loss for Houston Carnegie. But overall, tons of rushing yards. We're well over 140 rushing yards for the Cardinals in the first half, right at that mark. So this is shaping up to be a very strong performance for your Cardinals. They're going to look to keep it up as we bring you back here for the second half. We're 2 minutes and 25 seconds away according to the clock. Keep it here. We'll bring you back Send you to one last commercial break, and then it's back to second half football here in Louisburg. Keep it here on Eudora Sports Live.
Are you looking for a trusted partner in pet care? Look no further than Eudora Animal Hospital, proudly serving Eudora and the surrounding area since 1975. Eudora Animal Hospital offers a wide range of services, including wellness exams, surgeries, routine vaccinations, and emergency care.
I just want to thank everybody in the community for trusting us with the care of their animals, and go Dogs!
Schedule an appointment by calling 785-542-3265 or visit eudoravet.com.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here, preparing for a career in healthcare as part of Fort Scott Community College's nursing program. Or maybe you belong on stage as part of the Hounds band or theater department. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
What would happen if I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors? What would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? So you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter, male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers. We have leaders in business.
Is me, you, anyone that wants to be. There is no typical firefighter.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become 1 in a million.
Charlie was born at LMH. We had a great team of nurses. Not only did they check in on us regularly, they always asked if we had questions, always made sure that we understood what was going on. I cannot say enough wonderful things about the labor and delivery, family birthing, and mother baby care team at LMH Health. We had to put our entire trust into their hands, and just everyone was so friendly and so supportive.
All right, they have put just a couple of extra minutes up on the clock here. So we are 2 minutes and counting to go before we return for more Cardinals football here on Eudora Sports Live. We'll run you through a couple more of the stats. We did also receive some offensive stats for the Louisburg Wildcats in the first half, so we'll check those over as well. On the rushing side of things, Blaze Wells, the senior, had 10 rushes for 36 yards, so 3.6 per carry. Certainly not a bad thing. He was certainly finding room to run through the first level of the defense. Problem is the Cards have been very, very sound in how the linebackers and defensive backs have been playing, so they haven't let him break off a longer one yet to speak of. We also have more rushes from Bryce Thompson. The junior has 1 rush for 4 yards, and then quarterback Max Amron has 4 rushes for a total of 1 yards. Of course, sacks or plays where he moves backwards have been accounted in for there. We're under a minute to go. We'll send you to just one more break with 1:04 to go until kickoff here on Eudora Sports Live. Keep it here. We're just about ready to kick off 2 halves, the second half of more football from the home of the Wildcats.
Charlie was born at LMH. We had a great team of nurses. Not only did they check in on us regularly, they always asked if we had questions, always made sure that we understood what was going on. I cannot say enough wonderful things about the labor and delivery, family birthing, and mother baby care team at LMH Health. We had to put our entire trust into their hands, and just everyone was so friendly and so supportive.
Are you looking for a trusted partner in pet care? Look no further than Eudora Animal Hospital, proudly serving Eudora and the surrounding area since 1975. Eudora Animal Hospital offers a wide range of services, including wellness exams.
All right, it is time to get rolling here from Wildcat Arena as we kick off the third quarter of more Eudora Cardinals football. 14-0 is the score. I'm Hayden Harves. Thank you all for joining me on the call tonight. We're flying solo, but bringing you more Cardinals football. They're up 2 scores right now as we kick off the second half. That one put up in the air by Moody. It's going to be run back by the Wildcats. They're going to be met, and the returner going to be brought down right at the 25-yard line. That was Aiden Filkins, the man with the big reception right at midfield. As they were trying to close out their drive at the end of the first half, he had a big curl route where he gained close to 20 yards on that one. And then the subsequent face mask call from the Cardinals pushed them even closer. But it will be Amron once again trotting out to lead this Wildcats offense down the field. They're going to be going left to right on your screen. Don in the purple and white on homecoming night. Just had all the festivities and celebrations at the half. Looks like it's going to be Braxton Eastland moving out to the left side. He's also got his receiver Getterman. So it's Getterman to the right, Eastland to the left. Amron under center. Going to give this one over to Vose. Vose going to misdirection. Makes through the first level. Second level. He's got a good one going here. Bowser hits the ground. Oh, Vose has a real shot. He's going to get a first down and a bit more. He goes down at about the 39-yard line. A gain of close to 15 yards there for Blaze Vose. He had been contained moderately well in the first half. Had 32 yards in total. And he's almost halfway to that total through just one carry to start the second half. I think a big key here for the Cardinals is going to be continuing to stop the run. If you let the run game open up for the Wildcats, it gives them that much more freedom to throw it. And we've already seen Max Amron has plenty of capability to go downfield and punish this maybe slightly subpar recently Cardinals secondary. Although they have played well tonight, you almost wonder if that's going to come at some point or another. They've done well so far. Amron gives to Vose again. Vose going to get through the first level, and he's met by Bowser for a gain of about 4. And that'll bring up second down and 6 or 7. Looks like we got a substitution here. Oh, the helmet of Vose came out. So number 7, Tate McGreer, going to come in instead. So McGreer going to come in along with Bryce Thompson coming out. Thompson going to come in, rather. So Vose, of course, the rule is if your helmet comes off during a play, you've got to go to the bench for at least one play. So it will be McGreer coming in instead of Vose. We've got receivers out. Eastland out far to the left side. And Amron going to take this one. He's going to go past the first level of the defense, and he gets forward for a gain of about 6. So he is extremely close to that first down marker. Wildcats trying to do all they can to get themselves a quick answer, get themselves back into it's a close ball game position. If they're able to score here, you make it 7-14. All bets are off. All you need is one stop at that point to get yourself back into position to lead. It's 3rd down and 2 coming up here from the 48. Amron, 3 receivers set. Could pass, could throw out of this one. He's got Vose lined up behind him once again. Amron gives over to Vose. Vose going to keep it. He's going to the left side. He makes one miss. He's met by 1 at the line of scrimmage, and he's got a good run down the sideline. Oh, Vose going to make 1 miss, 2 miss, and he's down at the 25-yard line. Braden Marks had hands on him at the line of scrimmage and just about brought him down. But nonetheless, Vose stays on his feet, runs up the sideline. Then when he got to the 30, he cut it back to the inside. Put the Cardinals on the back foot for certain. He had to get all the way into the secondary. The last line of defense for the Cards in the secondary who could have gotten him was the one who brought him down. I believe it was Keelan Duncan.
To start this second half.
So big plays here early on from the Wildcats to start off their drive. They are looking as determined as ever to try to answer back with a quick score here. About 2.5 minutes off the clock. 1st and 10 from the 25. Amron takes the snap, looking. He's going to keep it himself, rolling to the line of scrimmage, and he will be stopped short. So he's going to pick up maybe a yard. Believe it was a gain of nothing. May not have lost yardage either.
Aaron keeps it on the draw.
And I think there's something to the fact that you're seeing, you know, formations and sets with multiple receivers in, which we know the Cards have struggled a little bit against in the prior weeks this season. You got to think for Coach Stefan with the defensive mind, if that many receivers out there kind of automatically takes the Cards' focus off of the short plays up front. Because here we see it again, 3 receiver set with Vose and Amron in a sort of shotgun I formation here.
In the gun once more.
Klob's creeping up. Oh, it's going to be a give option. Quarterback Amron tosses over to Vose. Vose in the backfield. He's going to get a gain of maybe 2 before being stifled in the backfield. Newt Schreiner got to him quickly along with Brock Long. And the 73 of Cage Crable. That's a team captain. So it's going to bring up 3rd and 9. And if I'm the Cardinals, this is a very, very important stop with how efficiently the Wildcats have marched down the field here. Any opportunity to get them off the field has been slim to none. And even then, the 3rd downs have usually been short. We see 4 receivers come out now. Looks like Eastland and Getterman over on the left side, followed up by Filkins and Spradling over to the left side. It's going to be Amron. He's looking to his left, looking to fire. He's moved off his spot. Pass rush starting to get home. He's going to roll out to his right side, and he is met by Marks, who's going to stop him after a gain of 1 or 2. So that's going to hold. The Cards going to hold to a 4th down and about 8. It looks as if the offense is going to stay out on the field for the Wildcats. Of course, 4th downs are always. Well, we've got a flag out here. We'll see what the ruling is. It's like a personal foul against the Cardinals, maybe.
Actually went nowhere on the play. 0 yards on the block. That's going to be 15.
You wonder if that's going to give a 1st down. Seems like it'd be 15 yards. It is. So it'll be a 15-yard penalty and a fresh set of downs. Oh, my goodness. That's crucial for the Cardinals. You finally got the stop. Wow, so it's half the distance to the goal. So the Cardinals commit a personal foul there.
This Wildcats offense new life.
After the 3rd down stop, Amron. Oh, that one's going to be blown dead. Looks like it could be a false start. And the Wildcats will return back. That one going to back them up, I believe, 5 yards. Oh, no, timeout was taken by the Wildcats instead. So no yards lost. It'll be 1st down and 10 once again when we come back here. But the quick timeout means we'll take a quick timeout as well. We'll see you back here in just a moment after the quick break.
Are you looking for a trusted partner in pet care? Look no further than Eudora Animal Hospital, proudly serving Eudora and the surrounding area since 1975. Eudora Animal Hospital offers a wide range of services, including wellness.
And back in we come here. 1st down and 10 from the 12-yard line. The Wildcats looking to move off what should have been likely a 3rd down stop and maybe even a punt. The Cardinals had forced the 3rd down. Instead, they commit a penalty, and it's a fresh set of downs. Vo's going to get the carry. He's through the 1st level, 2nd level, and he's home. Touchdown, Louisburg Wildcats. Blaise Vose finally gets home. He had been looking like he was ready to break one off all day long, and there he does. So that's going to put the Wildcats up to 6 points on the day, and their first score, a score of 12 yards by Blaise Vose. And now the extra point attempt coming up, it's going to be Vose to kick. So he's got an opportunity to claim all 7 points for himself here. Wildcats looking over to the sideline, giving a cheer, as it is a ball game. Once again, the Wildcats take the opening kickoff for the 2nd half, and they proceed to have a 4-minute, 40-second scoring drive where they moved all the way down the field, and the PAT from Vose up, down the middle, and good. So it's 7-14. The Wildcats cap off a longer scoring drive. About 5 minutes of possession. They get the quick score, and they bring this one within 1 possession. It's the Cardinals' chance to rebuttal when we're back.
For For the best care for your pet, choose DeSoto Veterinary Clinic. Dr. Matt Fair and his team are dedicated to providing high-quality medical care with compassion and a personal touch. They treat every pet as their own, ensuring they receive the attention and respect they deserve. For routine checkups, testing, vaccinations, chiropractic and acupuncture care, or surgical services, you can trust Dr. Fair and his team at DeSoto Veterinary Clinic. Call 913-585-1115 to schedule an appointment today or visit DeSotoVetClinic.com.
Bringing you back in here to the home of the Wildcats, Louisburg Wildcats Stadium. As it looks to be Vos to try to kick this one off. The Wildcats have a very, very respectable long touchdown drive to open up the second half, and they go all the way down the field, get the touchdown from Blaise Vos by 12 yards and the extra point to make this one 7-14 as the Cardinals get their first chance to respond of the second half. 7:21 to go. The kickoff going to go to Vos. And that one is booted off. Low kick going to go low to White, who drops it. Preston White going to have to pick that one up and go. He's going to make one miss. He's got a little bit of opportunity to make this respectable. Makes one miss going down the right sideline. He's got a little bit of room, and White is going to be forced out around the 40. It's going to be about the 36-yard line that he gets pushed out around. But Preston White, really good job to turn nothing into something there. And he's going to give the Cardinals very, very favorable field position here early on. That was a 26-yard return. And now it's the Cards' chance to come out. Looks like Duncan and Moody both sitting to the left and right sides of Carnegie in the shotgun. He's got White lined up to his left side. Carnegie first down, going to take it, give to Duncan. Duncan to the right side. He's going to get a little bit of an edge. He's got a good shot at this one. Oh, man, he gets a first down and just a little bit more, it seems. Ooh, maybe not. They're going to say he was forced out of bounds. Just shy. So it's going to be 2nd down and 2. Ball going to be moved up to about the 41-yard line. Or 46, I'm sorry. So Keelan Duncan, a really strong run there. If he's not forced out of bounds, he has a very good chance to take that one the distance. Carnegie once again, he's got Moody to his right, Duncan to his left. This time he hands to Moody to the left side. Moody gets a blocker, makes one miss, and he's going to get a gain of maybe 4. Puts them on the plus side of the 50, however. The chains will move. That's a first down pickup and the first carry of the second half for Grayson Moody. So we've got a 50-50 split so far. Moody with 1 carry and Duncan with 1 carry. A gain of 8 for Duncan on his first attempt, and a gain of about 5 for Moody on his first attempt. And I'll mention that even though that doesn't seem super flashy, if these Cards are able to average 3 to 4 yards on the ground every single carry for the rest of the day, they'll put themselves in very favorable position to bring this one home unscathed. White over to the left side. The carry is given to Duncan. Duncan through the first level, and he's going to get a gain of about 5 and still pushing. Will be blown dead after a gain of about 5 yards. That'll put him just that much deeper into Wildcats territory. May have a down Cardinal. No, everyone is up to their feet. A good sight there. So we are now just over the halfway point of the third quarter. The Wildcats did take up a fair bit of time with their possession. Now the Cardinals going to try to do just the same. They received this kickoff with about 7 minutes and 20 seconds left. So they've already run close to 2 minutes. And they're over halfway home. Carnegie, once again, 2 running backs in the formation, Moody and Duncan. 2 receivers over to his left side. He's going to drop back, look to throw. Carnegie lets this one fly over 2, and that's caught. That's a one-handed catch around the 33-yard line. That was the 88 who made a really impressive one-handed catch. That was Von Holton. So Brady Von Holton, the offensive lineman and defensive end, sneaks out on a blocking assignment and grabs a really impressive catch. Carnegie had to let that one fly a little bit off platform, so the pass sailed just a little bit high, but a really impressive catch there. And that's going to give a fresh set of down to the Cards once again. Carnegie, once again, he's got Moody, he's got Duncan. He's going to hand to Duncan to the right side. Duncan through the first level, makes contact, and he's going to push upfield for a gain of maybe 4. Once again, doesn't look extremely flashy per se. They're going to say it's about a 2-yard carry instead, 2 to 3. So that'll be 2nd down and 7. Officially going from the 30, about the 34-yard line. So Von Holton, really impressive one-handed catch there. And now it's 2nd down and 8 after the 2-yard carry with a fresh set of downs. It's White over to the left side. Bowser, the motion man on the wing side, along with both running backs still in. Carnegie going to give this one off to Grayson Moody. Moody to the left side. He's got a little bit of room. He's going to push forward past the 30-yard line upfield to maybe the 27. And that's going to get him a little bit closer to a 1st down, but it is still going to be 3rd down and short. It'll be 3rd down and about 4 to go. That's what they'll say.
Moody picks up 4.
And usually what I'd want to say, from 28 yards out, this would be a little over a 40-yard field goal. That's something that you could see Caden Dunback making. But again, we don't know the precise reason, but it seems Dunback not in the fold today. Grayson Moody has been doing all the kicking work thus far. So it's 3rd down and 4 for the Cards. Both running backs in the formation still. Carnegie has Duncan to his left, Moody to his right, White in the fold. Duncan gets the carry to the right side, gets the edge. He's got a little bit of room. He's going to get a 1st down. And just a hair more, he's going to get about 4 yards right when he needed 4 yards. Seems eerily similar to that 4th down play on the other side of the field earlier where he needed 8 yards on his carry, and he got probably about 8.5. He got just as many yards as he needed. And I really like this formation so far from the Cards on this possession. You've got the receiving threat in with Preston White over there and some tight ends in the fold. We just saw the one-handed catch from Von Holton, proves they can do it. But both running backs in means you never really know if they're going left or right, and it's so tough for a defense to cap it off. Carnegie takes the snap. This one again, a give to Duncan to the right side. Duncan, contact made early, and he's going to get upfield for a gain of maybe 4. And that will put them, should put them just into the red zone with under 3 minutes to go now in the 3rd quarter. It'll be a 3-yard gain officially, which will put the Cards just on the plus side of the 20. So 2nd and 7 from the 19 now is the situation.
4-yard gain, 2nd and 6.
They say 4 yards instead of 3, so we still have White in the fold along with Bowser. Those are your receivers. Both running backs still in. Carnegie rolls out to his left side, looking to throw this one. He's going to dump it off short to Duncan. Duncan going to get past one blocker. He gets past another blocker, still on his feet and pushed out of bounds. At the 6-yard line, he was knocking on the door of getting inside the 5. But he will get oh so close, and I absolutely love the dynamic here with both running backs in. Of course, you're wearing down Moody and Duncan a little bit more. They may not be quite as fresh because both are still taking all the snaps. But it just puts this Wildcats defense in such a tough spot. And right after they got a scoring drive of their own to even things up, this is a possession where you know they really thought if we can get a stop here, we put ourselves in position to tie the game. The Cards have come out with every effort and attempt to disprove that belief. Carnegie once again, same formation. He's got White the lone receiver. Carnegie hands off to Duncan to the right side. Duncan inside the 5, and he's met right there. He's going to push forward for maybe an additional yard, if that. Carnegie going to run over and get a quick check on the play call. It is now goal to go. So it'll be 2nd and goal to go from the 5-yard line is the ruling. So a 1-yard gain there for Duncan. Now we're within range where if the Wildcats can get 2 stops. Remember, we saw this last week with the Cardinals on the defensive side where the Cyclones were knocking on the door of scoring, start on the 1-yard line, and the Cardinals held them on 4 attempts. Carnegie now moving to under center. He's got Moody the back behind him. Duncan the wing to the left side. Hands over to Moody on the left side. Moody pushing. He's going to get maybe a yard, and he'll go down right about the 3-yard line. So that's a slightly better game, but it still brings up 3rd down and goal. I believe it's going to be from the 3-yard line right about, if not a long 4 yards. So now it's a little bit of time for a decision. If you're Coach Steffen, this 3rd down play call, very, very important. You want to do all you can to avoid a 4th and goal scenario if possible. And of course, from here, you think Moody could certainly make a field goal. He's made 2 PATs from about this range already. And you could go up by 10 points, but you know they're wanting more than that. White, the lone receiver, over to the right side. Wing formation again. Carnegie under center with Moody behind him. Duncan and Bowser on the wing sides. He hands off to Duncan. Duncan to the right side, gets outside, and he's going to walk in untouched for a Cardinals touchdown. That's going to make it 20-7. The Cards with a beautiful answer after a long drive from the Wildcats. The Cards come out and say, we are not going to let you get that much hope. And we said they got the ball with about 7.5 minutes in the 3rd quarter. Under a minute when they scored. which means that was close to 7 minutes of clock run off by the Eudora Cardinals. And now the PAT attempt from Moody. Snap low, hold is good, and Moody knocks that one through to make it 21-7. The Cardinals with once again a beautiful answer to keep the lead at 2 possessions and 14. After a Wildcats score, the Cards score right back. We'll take you to a quick break, then we'll bring you back for presumably the last couple of plays of the third quarter. Keep it here on Eudora Sports Live.
Charlie was born at LMH. We had a great team of nurses. Not only did they check in on us regularly, they always asked if we had questions, always made sure that we understood what was going on. I cannot say enough wonderful things about the labor and delivery, family birthing, and mother baby care team at LMH Health. We had to put our entire trust into their hands, and just everyone was so friendly and so supportive.
Are you looking for a trusted partner in pet?
Welcoming you back in here on Eudora Sports Live. It's time for the Cards to kick it off again. 21-7, the current score after a long, almost 7-minute scoring drive by the Eudora Cardinals that was capped off with a 3-yard touchdown run by Keelan Duncan. Moody going to step back to kick this one away. Gotta think the offensive approach is going to be urgent for the Wildcats as the quick rebuttal from the Cards means the Wildcats still down 2 possessions after an impressive scoring drive, and Moody just going to send that one out of the back of the end zone. And now we bring up the next Wildcats possession as they've got just under 13 minutes left of ball to play in total. And they've got 14 points to gain in the process to try to tie this one up. Again, they come in at 1-3 on the day. The Cardinals come in at 3-1. Cardinals, if they are able to walk out of here with a win today, will improve to 4-0 within the Frontier League. 4-1 will be their total record. That will give them sole possession and ownership still of first place in the Frontier League. Amron going to get in the shotgun. He's got Vose behind him. 2 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Takes the snap, hands this one off to Vose. Vose going to be made with contact with immediately. That's Bradshaw, one of the ones who got there quickly. That's Bradshaw and Marks, along with Eder, were right there at the point. So that's a team captain in Bradshaw, another one of them on the defensive side. Makes quick contact to shut down any running attempt from Vose. And just like that, 2nd down. And he actually went backwards a yard, they say, so it's going to be 2nd down and 11. And inside their own dread zone now, just narrowly, are the Wildcats. Still 1 receiver lining up over to the right side. That's Aiden Filkins. Filkins along with Eastland and Getterman over on the left side. Cameron takes a snap on this one, rolling to his left. He's going to pitch it over to Vose. Vose meets Klobes in the backfield, pushes past him, but he'll get right about to the line of scrimmage. Push past Vose, but he met, I believe that was Preston White or Newt Schreiner. It was right there in the gap. So he'll get back to the line of scrimmage and maybe gain 2 yards, but nothing more than that. So the ruling is 3rd down and 9, and that'll bring us to the end of the third quarter. So we'll send you to one more quick little break. I promise we won't send you to too many more of them. Bringing this one back to start the fourth quarter. It'll be 21-7 for the Cards, reversing field, and we'll bring you right back to it here in about 20 seconds.
For the best care for your pet, choose DeSoto Veterinary Clinic. Dr. Matt Fair and his team are dedicated to providing high-quality medical care with compassion and a personal touch. They treat every pet as their own, ensuring they receive the attention and respect they deserve. For routine checkups, testing, vaccinations, chiropractic and acupuncture care, or surgical services, you can trust Dr. Fair and his team at DeSoto Veterinary Clinic. Call 911.
All right, welcome back in here from Louisburg, Kansas, as we kick off the fourth quarter of football action, a game where the Cards have had largely control over the entirety of 3 quarters so far. The Wildcats have had spurts, but so far it's been almost all Cardinals. A 2-possession lead as the Wildcats begin a possession to try to answer. Back to Amron. He steps back, looking to his right, looking to his left. He's got pressure from Long, and nice, trying to get rid of it. He's going to look upfield and get rid of it to, oh, that was to Eastland on a crossing route. Had a step on the defender at Duncan, but it went off the hands. So an incompletion there, going to bring up 4th down and 8. That was an extremely impressive 3rd down effort by Max Amron, all things considered. Did a phenomenal job to move around in the back of the pocket, manipulate defenders in space, and gave himself a legitimate shot to give Braxton Eastland an opportunity to get a hand of that one, but it falls just short, and the Wildcats will, at a glance, opt to punt this one away. Going to be Vose, who is the do-it-all athlete on the team, and evidently so. He's able to kick, he's able to punt, he's able to run the ball well. That's going to be a decent punt, bringing this one to about the 35-yard line as it's going to be fielded by Hubler. Hubler going to make one-man miss, moving over to his right side right now as we come all the way back towards the line. Ooh, that, you wonder if the ball could have come out there, but he just baseball slid to the ground. There is a flag on the play over on the right side where it was returned. Flag kept on the field, so we'll see what the ruling is here. Cards offense is still trotting out on the field. So officials will concur. I'm very impressed thus far with this Cardinals pass rush today. They haven't been quite as breathing down the neck-esque of the quarterback as they were as Jordan Miller 2 weeks ago and Hayden Hole the week prior to that, Spring Hill and Ottawa. However, they have gotten home at opportune times today when the moments have counted. The Cards pass rush has been right there. That 3rd down attempt, of course, to force the incompletion on 3rd down from Amron. That was Riley Nice and Brock Long, who were all over him in the backfield. And looks like the Cards going to back up a little bit. We'll await the call here. Could be against Eudora.
Personal foul. You get a blindside block on the return team.
So that was a blindside block. It was a blindside block on the return team of the Cardinals. Just means one of the players on the Card side, when the punt was coming back, all the players are moving towards the ball. It means a Cardinals player came out of nowhere and delivered a hit to a defender who was, by definition, defenseless, wasn't looking for the hit. So that's going to back the Cards up. They will be at the 30-yard line. Will be the start. Tight formation here. White lined up to the right side, but it's that flex bone formation once again that we saw so much of last year. Carnegie dropping back, looking to his right side. He's going to let this one fly for Preston White. White sticks a hand out. May have had a held hand there. He's looking up for a flag. Looks like he will not get one. Oh, Cards side is wanting the foul there. Certainly they're thinking Preston White was held. Something out of his control that kept that pass from going his way. That one was certainly closer. Carnegie gave him a very real shot to get a hand of that one, but nonetheless just falls a little bit short. Once again, the presenting sponsor for Eudora Sports Live is Kansas Insurance. Kansas Insurance believes in taking time to issue personal care and attention to each individual client. To see how Kansas Insurance can help you protect what matters most, call 913-369-6600. Proudly bringing Eudora Sports Live to Cardinal fans everywhere as this toss over to Moody on the left side. Moody going to make a couple of men miss, juke through. He's going to get a gain of maybe 1 before being brought down in the backfield by, looks like that was Feldkamp with that tackle. Ooh, Klobes moving off the field for the Cards too. Looks to be a little bit of discomfort, and he'll sit down over on the sideline. You hope all the best. So Klobes moves out after that play. Elijah Klobes has been all over the place today. He's made all kinds of impact plays. That's the 6', 190 sophomore linebacker. As we move back towards things, 3rd down and 8. Preston White lined up as the lone receiver. Flexbone formation. Moody the back behind along with Bowser and Duncan and wing. Carnegie going to hand off to Duncan. Duncan gets through the 1st level, 2nd level. He's going to push forward for a 1st down and a little bit more. He's going to go upfield to about the 44-yard line. That'll be a gain of close to 12 yards when they needed 8. So Duncan comes up big on another long situation to give the Cards a 1st down and keep the clock rolling early in this 4th quarter.
Beckner and Heinrich get on the stop. Drive continues up at 44.
About the situation at hand here. 10:30 remaining. Certainly need to step up here.
Carnegie now going to that familiar formation from prior. This one's going to be given to Duncan. He'll get upfield for maybe 4 yards before being met and brought down. Now back to that formation you saw on the prior scoring drive where it's both Moody and Duncan lined up in the shotgun. Duncan lined up to the right side. of Houston Carnegie. Moody over to his left just puts the defense in such a dilemma of who to cover, which side to lean towards, because either running back can either go to their close side or they can bounce the run outside to either direction. Just puts so much tension on this Wildcats defense that's desperately looking for a stop at this point. They've got just under 10 minutes to try to get the ball back and score twice in order to tie this game up. Carnegie, Moody to his right, Duncan to his left. He'll hand to Duncan, who moves to the right side. Duncan, little bit of a gain again. He's going to stay on his feet there. He's got more to go. Duncan stays on his feet, brought down. Oh, my goodness, brought down by the 28 after a gain of a few. Again, that's Feldkamp. So Duncan, once again, looked like he may have only gotten 4 or 5 yards out of that. Was met right at the point of attack on the second level, but he spins out of it, stays on his feet, and gets free again. So Duncan continues to put a bruising emphasis on this run game for the Eudora Cardinals. Carnegie once again, 2 backs in the set. Hands fakes the hand to both. He's going to throw it over the middle. White, wide open. He's got a step. He's got the catch in. Running into the end zone is Preston White for the Eudora Cardinals touchdown. That's going to put them up by 3 touchdowns now. The current score, 27-7. Preston White has been looking for the gap in the step all season long. It's just felt like a matter of time before he got a big play and gave himself room to run, and he did just that right there. Carnegie faked the handoff, realized he had plenty of room, and delivers a beautiful ball to a wide open Preston White for a long Eudora Cardinals touchdown. Now Moody to try the PAT.
Moody to try and kick it through the uprights.
And Moody, good snap, good hold, and that one is through and good. So it's 28-7. The Cardinals stretching things out that much more as we bring this one back to a break. Just under 9 minutes to go in the game. Cardinals up 28-7. Keep it here. We'll bring you more football when we're back.
At Kansas Insurance, we know one size doesn't fit all. In fact, our whole mindset is based on customized policies for you and your families. We're local, and we do what we do because we care about you. Think of us as brokers for your insurance needs. Working with Kansas Insurance gets you the award-winning service and attention to detail that only an independent agency can provide. All across Kansas, we're here to help you manage and plan for all types of risk. Contact a local agent today. Kansas Insurance. Local, independent, serving you.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong?
So we bring you back to here on Eudora Sports Live. Just under 9 minutes to go in the game. Fresh off a Preston White 35-yard touchdown. That one traveled every bit of 25 to 30 yards through the air. Houston Carnegie faked the handoff to Moody and Duncan, delivered a beautiful ball to a wide open Preston White on a post route from the left side, crossed the face of his defender and was gone. Preston White with his biggest catch of the year thus far as the kick is booted out of bounds by Moody for a touchback, which brings out the Wildcats offense, who are going to be looking to just put up some fight here, whether they're able to truly get back in a position to win the game or not. They're going to put up every bit of fight and scratch and claw that they can to make this one close and prove a point to the rest of the Frontier League that they are here to compete. Despite the young age of a lot of players on the roster and relative inexperience across the board here, they are ready to give it all they've got here in the remaining of the fourth quarter. 2 receivers rolling out to the right side. The wide receiver is Filkins, followed up by Eastland over here on your close side of the screen to the left. It's Amron. He's got Vose in tow behind him. Vose motions out to the right side. Amron takes the snap, and that one is blown dead, presumably a false start call against the Wildcats. We'll get the official call there, but it looks like the Wildcats may be backing it up an additional 5 yards. It is a false start against the Wildcats, and that's a 5-yard penalty. That'll bring up first down and 15. I do like the idea on the formation, though, having the running back move out to the right side. That was actually McGreer, I believe, in the formation at running back, but sending your running back out to fly out into the flat like that certainly puts a little bit of a problem for the defense on who you cover. And then your asking your running back to break one tackle, and he's got plenty of room left to go. He'll motion again as Vose. This time, gonna keep it. Oh, brought down in the backfield by the 72. That's team captain Leland Bradshaw, the senior. Gets to Amron and brings him down. So Amron brought down by Bradshaw. That's gonna go down as a loss of none. He got right back to the line of scrimmage, they say, so that's 2nd down and 15 now. Clock is running. Cards gonna look to do all they can to pin the ears back here. You've got a passing situation, you would think, so it's a chance for that pass rush to try to get home and force a quick 3 and out. Amron takes the snap, looking over. He's gonna hand this one off. He's got Vose. Vose gets past the 1st level, 2nd level, and he's met by his opposing running back, Duncan, who brings him down after a gain of maybe 7. So he'll be just shy, maybe a long 2 yards or a short 3, depending on how they rule it. That's how far away we sit from a 1st down conversion for the Wildcats. Now under 8 minutes to go, and the clock is rolling.
33, ball 42. Inside of me, it's
3rd and 3. Cards trying to get off the field. 4 receivers set out for the Wildcats. Keep his Amron. He tosses it over to Vose, who bobbles it, and he's going to be brought down and sunk by Newt Schreiner in the backfield. Schreiner gets there to bring him down. Unless we have any flags, that'll bring up 4th down and a little bit longer, maybe around 4th and 6 would be the guess. Ball was spotted, yep, 4th down and 6 from the 42-yard line. And the Wildcats staying out on the field, trying to keep the drive alive here. Filkin's going to come on off the field. Amron going to go back out on. Keep it here after the game comes to a close. We'll sit here on the post-game show and chat it up for a little bit, go over some of the stats from the individual players and the teams alike, and talk about what this means for the rest of the Frontier League and the outlook on both teams' seasons after these 7 minutes. But for now, Amron takes a snap, all kinds of pressure. It's a screen to Vose. Vose is tackled immediately. Schreiner again makes quick contact in the backfield. Didn't bring him down himself, but he stopped the momentum long enough to allow reinforcements to show up. And that's a 4th down stop for the Cardinals. And they will trot off the field with some victorious energy to them, and that'll bring out the Cardinals offense, which has now just got to be playing to get 1st downs and try to run out the clock here. Looks like Otis out as the receiver. Moody in the fold at running back. Duncan looking to head back over to the sideline. Des Hubler. Colton Bowser spins past the referee. He's heading over there as well. Duncan will come back in, so we'll have both running backs again. Remains to be seen if they sit in that shotgun formation with both running backs to the sides of quarterback Houston Carnegie, or if they choose to get in that old reliable flex bone formation with one back in the wing. Looks like they are going to get in the shotgun, but it is Carnegie standing with Moody alone to him. One receiver in, that's Otis. Carnegie lets this one fly to Preston White on and out and end around. Preston White has an edge. Preston White inside the 20, the 15, trying to get a blocker, and he's down inside the 5-yard line. He's going to slide to the purple end zone. He's down at about the 3. But a huge play for the Cardinals there. They're looking to extend the lead out to 28 points if they can go up 34 or 35-7. Keep in mind the final score when these two teams played a year ago was 42-14 in favor of the Wildcats. The way the Cardinals are rolling here, we could be looking at a similar final score. But it wouldn't be familiar at all. It'd be a dominant win for the Cardinals instead. As here we are, 1st down and goal to go from inside the 2. It's Carnegie. He's got Duncan to his right, Moody to his left. Carnegie takes a snap. Oh, Moody took that one directly, and that's going to be a touchdown for Grayson Moody. Keelan Duncan took the snap in the Wildcat, hands over to Moody, and the seas had parted. You could have driven an F-150 through that gap. Grayson Moody parks himself in the end zone. I don't know if he's winning a whole lot, but the team is winning a ton. That puts them up 34-7 as the PAT attempt is coming up. But the Cardinals putting an absolute statement on the day. Up 4 touchdowns and still just under 6 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. Carnegie, hold is good, up, and Moody knocks that one through. It's 35-7 here in Louisburg. The Cardinals putting on a clinic on a Friday night, walked into this hostile Louisburg Wildcat Stadium on homecoming night, and they have given them something to behold, even though it hasn't necessarily gone the way the Wildcat faithful has hoped it would. We'll send you to a quick break and then bring you back for the remainder of the fourth quarter action here on Eudora Sports Live.
Charlie was born at LMH. We had a great team of nurses. Not only did they check in on us regularly, they always asked if we had questions, always made sure that we understood what was going on. I cannot say enough wonderful things about the labor and delivery, family birthing, and mother baby care team at LMH Health. We had to put our entire trust into their hands, and just everyone was so friendly and so...
Welcoming you back in here to Eudora Sports Live. Just under 6 minutes to go. The Cardinals sit up by a score. They actually say 34-7. That kick may have been no good from Moody. Is this one? Oh, that one is muffed. Gonna have to turn around and get it. Oh, and a massive hit delivered by Elijah Klobes. Klobes may still be on the ground. He'll get back up to his feet and jog off the field with a limp. But that one was returned by Matthias Wright, who bobbled it, tried to pick it up, and he was crushed by Elijah Klobes. That may have been the first play Klobes had been in since early on when he initially seemed to have that injury, and my goodness, did he deliver the boom there. So that's going to keep the Louisburg Wildcats just within their own dread zone. They're going to start from the 19-yard line, it appears. It'll be first down and 10, 5:49 to go. And we did mention briefly, but make sure to keep it here. If you're part of the Eudora faithful, you want to hear a little more football action and content after the final whistle blows, we'll keep it here and hang out on the postgame show for just a little bit. That one, we'll talk about stats for both teams, individuals and players, and give you a little more to look forward to, tell you what's next here. But we've got a big run by the Wildcats here over the 30-yard line. I believe that was Vose. Vose going to get a gain of close to 15 there. He'll go down to about the 30. That'll be a fresh set of downs. The chains will move. But yes, regardless of how this one ends, we'll go to the postgame show and we'll sit and chat things up a bit. We'll talk individual stats for each player, all those of note, and then we will also tell you what's coming up next for the home Eudora Cardinals. We'll tell you what's going on for them. We'll look at the outlook in the Frontier League for both of these teams and what both teams have to look forward to in the outlook for the rest of their football seasons after the final whistle blows. For now, first down and 10 from the 30-yard line. Amron takes the snap, pitches it over to Vose. Vose moving over to the left side. He's going to be met by Duncan, who's going to throw him out of bounds after a gain of maybe 5. They say he did gain 5. So 35-7, they did correct the scoreboard, so that PAT from Moody was good.
Louisburg team, we talked about they're going to be playing the West Pioneers, who are currently 1-3 in the Northwest tonight. And you're looking at the record, and obviously you're thinking, gotta take that one down, especially at home. You're coming off of a loss at home.
Amron sitting in the shotgun here. He's going to take the snap, hand it off to Vose. Vose up the gut, gets through the first level, gets through the second level, still on his feet, and Vose going to be brought down by Preston White with a little bit of assist from Colton Bowser. So that's a first down for the Wildcats, and they're marching up a little bit closer to midfield, trying to answer with a touchdown drive of their own and make this one maybe look more competitive on the scoreboard, but also just give themselves positive signs and a positive outlook going forward for the rest of the season. They had just snapped a 3-game win streak last week at Bonner Springs, and they will likely go home in the loss column today, but a lot of good positive signs. The offense has shown a lot of signs of life. It's just very similar to where the Cardinals were last year, of just needing to get a little bit better, a little more cohesive at capitalizing in those big moments and paying off these long drives with touchdowns instead of field goals or turnovers. And a timeout was taken by the Cardinals. We will send you to another brief break. We're just under 4.5 minutes to go here in the game, but we'll bring you back to the postgame show after the fact. For now, keep it here. We'll bring you a little more football after this 30-second break.
At Kansas Insurance, we know one size doesn't fit all. In fact, our whole mindset is based on customized policies for you and your families. We're local, and we do what we do because we care about you. Think of us as brokers for your insurance needs. Working with Kansas Insurance gets you the award-winning service and attention to detail that only an independent agency can provide. All across Kansas, we're here to help you manage and plan for all types of risk. Contact a local agent today. Kansas Insurance. Local, independent, serving
more time before you wake up in the wild.
Back in here from Louisburg, Kansas. It's 1st down and 10 for the Wildcats here. Snap goes to Amron out of the shotgun. He's looking deep downfield, has routes all over the place. He's going to go to the sideline. That one is picked up and tossed out of bounds. Is Getterman. Oh, Getterman with the catch, and he's going to go down over on the sideline. You hope that's just a cramp. They'll stretch him out here. And he does make the catch, which will grab a 1st down for the Wildcats. That was a gain of 13 yards, they say. And even if, of course, late in the game when the deficit is large, you could look at productive drives like this from a team and go, well, that's just garbage time production. There's not a whole lot to that. But for a team like this that's looking to get some momentum going into their following matchups and learn a little bit more about how to be behind and how to play well as a unit, these kind of drives are really crucial for the development of the team. That snap to Amron going to be bobbled and handed over to McGreer, who's going to get a gain of maybe 8. Tate McGreer did come in briefly earlier in the game when the helmet of Blaise Vos did come off. We hadn't seen a lot from him since then. McGreer, nonetheless, is currently in the fold.
You've got to be thinking win.
And over on the right side, one receiver moving far out to the right. That's Lincoln Nielsen. And then 2 receivers over to the left side. Looks like Eastland and perhaps Filkins. Amron takes the snap, hands this one off to McGreer again, and he's going to get a gain of maybe 1. Does not look like it'll be enough for a 1st down. So it'll be 3rd down and a short 2. Under 3.5 minutes to go now. The Cardinals with a very impressive performance, looking to cap off a fairly dominant win in Louisburg here on a Friday night. However, as we mentioned earlier, do not go anywhere, because after the fact, we'll do our Eudora Animal Hospital post-game show. We'll sit and talk all the stats and the future outlook for the season for both of these teams. So make sure to hang out. We'll be here for quite a while longer. Amron takes the snap on that one, tries to keep it himself, and he is buried in the backfield. Quickly, that was Garrett Golay, the first to get to him. And there is another, by the looks of it, down Wildcat. Timeout will be called there. So that'll be 4th down and 1, the official ruling, when we're back onto the field here. Cards coming over to Coach Steffen to talk things over a little bit more. And we'll take a quick break here and step aside for you. We'll be back here in about 30 seconds for the remainder of the game here on Eudora Sports Live.
More time before you wake up in the wild.
Our natural world needs us now. Step by step, side by side, together, we can find a way to ensure that all life on Earth can thrive. To learn more about how you can help protect and conserve nature, visit nature.org.
Back in here on Eudora Sports Live, players are backing up. And it's going to be 4th down and 1 for the Wildcats. Cards give themselves another opportunity to grab possession and maybe score another touchdown, run up the score a little more, or just bring it all the way back down to the final whistle. Amron takes the snap on this one. He's rolling out to the right all by himself. He's got pressure from 2 Cardinals, tosses it off, and he's buried behind the line of scrimmage. That was Preston White with a quick tackle and stop, so that pass was completed. However, not enough yardage for a 1st down, so the Wildcats defense will come out. Cardinals offense will have 2.5 minutes to do whatever Coach Steffen chooses to do, if he chooses to go for another touchdown or just run the ball, get some 1st downs, and maybe punt it away and just live to see another Friday. But this has been, all things considered, a brilliant performance for these Eudora Cardinals. They've done just about everything right, and this will seemingly make it to where the Cards have their 4 wins on the year. If this finishes the way it looks, they'll have 2 fairly comfortable wins over very good teams on paper, and then 2 extremely comfortable wins over teams that may be struggling a little bit more, but we talked about it a bit already. We'll bring it up some more. These Louisburg Wildcats are not struggling because they don't have talent. That is not what this is. This is very clearly a talented team that has a lot of personnel that likely will go on to do good things in the coming years. It just reminds me a lot of the current, the Cardinals team we're looking at today that's up by 28 points and looking phenomenal. About a year ago, this is what the Cardinals looked like. They looked like a team that had a little bit of talent. Grayson Moody was very productive, but in his sophomore year, he just didn't quite look like a senior, didn't look like he was quite ready to be the full-time bell cow back, and a lot of seniors graduated, and they were kind of a young team last season. That's what the Wildcats look like to me. They look like a talented team that's just trying to figure out how to play as a unit and trying to figure out how to be good and figure out how to come into these games against really good teams and fight and hold their own, and they did early on here. So even if it looks like the scoreboard's gotten a little out of hand, the Wildcats will be back, no doubt about that. But the Cardinals today, not thinking about the future. They're thinking about trying to get their first win over these Louisburg Wildcats in about 12 years. Again, 2013 was the last time the Wildcats were toppled by the Cardinals. They've played a lot in this stadium since then and a lot in Eudora District Stadium. A lot of these Cards players wouldn't have even been in school yet the last time that win happened. So it's Preston White lined up to the right side. Under center is Carnegie. Player in motion, that's Hubler. Carnegie tosses to Hubler. He's going to try to make one man miss in the backfield. He does. A little bit more room to go. He's going to get a gain of about 4. It looked like he was going to lose significant yardage on that play, but Hubler, a really good job to shimmy around a bit in the backfield and make one miss and then make another man miss and dive upfield for 4 yards. They're actually going to give him 6. They're going to say 2nd down and 4 from the 39 as we come up on 2 minutes to go. Let's see if we've reached a running clock in this point in the game or if we'll take some timeouts and delay this thing a little bit longer. I gotta think the Cards don't necessarily care as much about scoring points at this point. It's gonna be more so just bringing home a win, as it now is Jay Noble, the sophomore, in at quarterback. 6'1" sophomore, tosses that one over into the backfield, and that's gonna be the 25 of Jarrett Phillips, who's brought down in the backfield for a loss of maybe 2. That's gonna bring up 3rd down in a bit. And I think that tells us a lot about what kind of approach the Cards are taking. So it's Jay Noble in at quarterback, Jarrett Phillips in at running back 1. Des Hubler out in the folds. Looks like Preston White, the starting receiver, going to check out in place of his backup, Julian Otis. So the Cards essentially taking victory formation without taking victory formation out here. It's Noble going to come out in the fold. And as we mentioned, where the Wildcats are getting very, very useful reps right now, playing against a good team in a big moment, the Cards backups are getting a good opportunity as well to get some reps against a starting caliber team. Noble going to toss this one over to Phillips again. A flag does fly in the backfield. Phillips going to get forward for maybe a yard.
Flag on the play, penalty flag in the backfield.
Thinking the flag maybe something procedural like a false start or a hold. But we'll check and see what the official call is. Likely going to make it 3rd down and a long while, as we're under a minute to go now. Here is the call.
On the offense.
So that was an illegal motion on the offense, and that penalty was declined by Coach Harding and everyone else over on the Louisburg side. So that'll bring up 4th down and 3. Looks like the punt unit for the Cards will come out. The receiving unit for the Wildcats will come out. And we are under a minute to go now before the Cardinals officially walk out of the home of the Wildcats, 4-1, with a 35-7 presumably victory on a Friday night here in early October. The temperatures are good. Pretty perfect night for some football. We're sitting in the mid-70s for temperature right now. And here's the punt attempt. Goes up. A short punt, low punt, going to go out of bounds around the 40-yard line. So it'll be Louisburg's ball. As in from the point where it went out, So it'll be pretty solid field position for the Wildcats here. It looks like they will be across the 40-yard line, so they'll be inching up on midfield. 45 seconds to go will be the time left. Mentioned it before, we'll mention it again. If you're part of the Cardinal faithful, make sure to keep it here. We're not going to have a ton to talk about on the post-game show, of course, as it's just me, myself, and I as far as my thoughts go, but we will have some stats for individual players on both sides and some team stats. We'll take a look at the Frontier League standings for both teams and see what the outlook looks like for both teams, and then we'll talk about what's coming next here on Eudora Sports Live as the handoff to Amron goes to McGree. McGree are going to stay on his feet, fighting for those tough yards. He'll get well across midfield and across the 45-yard line of Cardinal territory. So a timeout is called by Louisburg. That's an injury timeout out on the field. We'll take a quick little break here and catch you back after the quick 30 seconds for the last 37 ticks of Cardinals football on a Friday night. We'll be right back.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here, studying animal science or learning about farm and ranch management. Maybe you belong here as part of Helms Hoops on the hardwood. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
And the injured Wildcat that was Kochner did come off the field under his own power. So love to see that. But as we come back to the last 37 seconds of this Friday night ball game, clock will start running. I believe it is still Amron in at QB. He's under center with McGreer behind him. Amron does hold off. He's got McGreer. McGreer makes one miss, two miss. He's still on his feet, and he'll dive close to the 25-yard line. So back-to-back big runs for the Wildcats. And you wait to see if the clock will run. It will, so a timeout will presumably not be called by the Wildcats. They're going to go hurry up offense, break the huddle quick here. Let's see if they can get a quick score off here. Amron, McGreer in the backfield. Under center is Amron. He's going to roll out, hands it to McGreer. McGreer stuttered at the line. He's going to push forward a little farther. He's hit really hard. Going to be brought down after a gain of just a couple by Landon Adler-Rooney. And that is it. That is the final play. The clock runs off, and the Eudora Cardinals bring themselves to 4-1 through 5 weeks of football and across the halfway point. They will keep lone possession of first place in the top step in the Frontier League. And the Louisburg Wildcats fall to 1-4, and they're back in the loss column, but a lot of positives. We've got a lot to talk about, a lot of fun stuff, a lot of good content, good stats. Make sure to keep it here for the post-game show. We'll be back to talk about all of it here in about 30 seconds. Keep it here on Eudora Sports Live.
Are you looking for a trusted partner in pet care? Look no further than Eudora Animal Hospital, proudly serving Eudora and the surrounding area since 1975. Eudora Animal Hospital offers a wide range of services, including wellness exams, surgeries, routine vaccinations, and emergency care.
I just want to thank everybody in the community for trusting us with the care of their animals, and go Dogs!
Schedule an appointment by calling 785-542-3265 or visit eudoravet.com.
One more time before you wake up in the wild.
Our natural world needs us now. Step by step, side by side, together, we can find a way to ensure that all life on Earth can thrive. To learn more about how you can help protect and conserve nature, visit nature.org.
Your home for live, local sports. Varsity Sports Live delivers professional level coverage. with high-quality video and broadcasters that know your schools and community.
Touchdown, Tonganoxie!
With the support of local businesses, you never pay to watch varsity sports. Live, local, free high school sports coverage. That's Varsity Sports Live.
Grass gets it away. Moore's down the middle. And he makes the catch in the end zone. Touchdown, Trojans.
Keep up with the action at varsitysportslive.com. Live, local, free high school sports.
Welcome in, everybody, to the Eudora Sports Live postgame show, brought to you by Eudora Animal Hospital. For 40 years, Eudora Animal Hospital has been caring for pets and livestock with fair pricing, trusted service, and compassionate care. Pet owners from across the region trust their four-legged friends to Eudora Animal Hospital. To learn more, visit eudoravet.com as we bring you in for one of the final times here from Louisburg Wildcats Stadium, the home of the Wildcats. And they came into today 1-3, and they leave 1-4. The Eudora Cardinals walk in, put up a very, very impressive performance, and walk out of here 4-1, still holding on to first place in the Frontier League, and with very impressive nights for a handful of their different players. And we'll talk about all of it right here. The Wildcats, we'll go to them first. And with the way the first half played out, they had themselves sitting in decent position. I think this was a game that they looked at on their schedule and knew probably wasn't their most favorable to try to come in and get a win. But nonetheless, they fought like crazy, had a really impressive touchdown drive earlier on to put them in good position to try to make a run at this one. But unfortunately, after their scoring plays, every scoring drive or closest scoring drive they would have, the Cardinals rattled off 14 more points and then 21 more points right after the touchdown. It was 14-7 after the Wildcats scored. And from there, the Cardinals went on a 21-0 run to close out the rest of the game, including a long touchdown on a post route to Preston White. A lot of other highlights, including a Keelan Duncan touchdown and a Wildcat touchdown formation for Grayson Moody, handed off from Keelan Duncan. So the Cardinals come in to a game that they thought they were going to win, you've got to think, and they walk out with just that, an impressive 35-7 performance. They get their first win over the Louisburg Wildcats since 2013. Again, I was 8 years old, and just think how much has changed since the early 2010s. That's the situation we're looking at. The Wildcats for the first time since 2013, when a lot of these players were either not even in school or early elementary school. They're going to be walking away from a Cardinals game not holding the aces. With the Cardinals, I think, had a really good day in all facets. The penalties were still a little bit of an issue. You still saw, of course, a face mask at the end of the first half that allowed the Wildcats to draw right up closer to field goal range. And then subsequently following that, there was an encroachment call on the field goal, which just gave the Wildcats that much more room. Of course, that field goal did not end up going. We've just got to think you give more opportunities like that against really good teams, eventually they're going to start punishing you for it. So the Cardinals do still have a fair bit to clean up. However, you can never complain about a 28-point win on the road on a Friday night. This does mark over the halfway point for the Cardinals' regular season of football. They will play at least one postseason game, of course. But of their 8 regular season games, this concludes the 5th of them. So we've got just 3 more regular season matchups for the rest of the Cards season. Looking at some of the standout players, Grayson Moody and Keelan Duncan both had impressive nights. Of course, more touchdowns. You get 1 touchdown for Keelan Duncan, 3 touchdowns for Grayson Moody. But both players really got a fairly even split of carries. I'd say the most of this whole season, you've seen a fairly even distribution of Keelan Duncan getting touches and then Grayson Moody getting touches to follow that. We'll talk about a little bit more of the stats when we get back. All you got to know at the moment, really impressive win for the Cardinals on a Friday night. We'll talk about all of it in a little more detail when we're back. Keep it here for our final post-game break coming up next.
Charlie was born at LMH. We had a great team of nurses. Not only did they check in on us regularly, they always asked if we had questions, always made sure that we understood what was going on. I cannot say enough wonderful things about the labor and delivery, family birthing, and mother baby care team at LMH Health. We had to put our entire trust into their hands, and just everyone was so friendly and so supportive.
Everybody can make something.
because I think everyone has a spark of creativity, and the reason that I have to keep making is because I don't think my life would be as fulfilling without it. If you make things yourself, that means you're not cowering in fear. You're out there taking chances. That, I think, is my way of saying I love you to the world. All right, now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
I used to drive an ambulance as an EMT, and I've always tried to be a safe driver. If people knew what I know, lives could be saved. In my car, if I see a truck or bus taking a turn, I know to take my time. When big vehicles turn right, they may swing wide to make the turn. If you try to sneak in, well, it's a lesson you'd rather not learn the hard way. When trucks and buses turn, let's you and I wait. It's our roads, it's our safety.
At Kansas Insurance, we know.
All right, welcoming you back in one final time to the Eudora postgame show here, brought to us by Eudora Animal Hospital. Call them at 785-542-3265 or at www.eudoravet.com for all your pet care needs over in Eudora, Kansas. And as we see the field starting to clear off here, just giving a broad recap of what this night means for these two teams. For the Wildcats, I think it was a really valuable learning experience for them. They got to get reps against a team that, in all likelihood, is looking like they're going to make a push for the Frontier League title and a very competitive roster. And they kept the game competitive for the first quarter and a half, maybe all the way to the halftime break. So certainly not a bad outing for the Wildcats at all. We talked a bit, but I think this is very similar to what the Cardinals looked like last year, coming off the heels of graduating a lot of their seniors and just trying to figure out where they fit in to the Frontier League as a current team and trying to figure out how to be more cohesive and get these players to mesh with the coaching staff and all that nitty-gritty detail. But I don't think it was a bad night for them overall. I think they'll find positives to take away from it. Of course, things they still want to improve on, but overall, not a bad night for the Wildcats. And as we move over to the Cardinals side, impressive for about 90%, I'd say. Maybe even more than that. I think the main things you're going to want to focus on is your pass defense, because even against a team that you beat by 28 points, the Wildcats were able to throw the ball. They were catching the Cardinals flat-footed in some of those crossing routes and play-action plays over the middle of the field. They did almost get a deep completion to Braxton Eastland near the end of the second quarter that was broken up just narrowly. It just went over his hands. But the Cardinals' pass defense does still seem to be a little bit of a point of concern, but it was certainly better this week than it was last week, where the Ottawa Cyclones were exposing it pretty consistently across the course of that game. But I think it was a lot of positives. They ran the ball well, used what we know as their preferred identity to a T. They ran the ball well, they played good defense, and they controlled the pace for just about the entirety of the game. I think we saw Preston White come out of his, the little dormancy he'd been in for a little bit of this season. We knew he's a super productive blocker, and the top came off today. He truly broke things out with that massive 35-yard post touchdown. Keelan Duncan, 1 touchdown on the night. That passing touchdown for Carnegie and a receiving touchdown for Preston White. And then the man of the hour, Grayson Moody, with 3 rushing touchdowns. And the Cards likely breaking over 200 rushing yards in total on the night, maybe quite a bit more. But on looking, rest of the Cards season going after this, they'll host the Independence Bulldogs next week. That'll be October 10th at 7 p.m. in Eudora District Stadium. Then after that, the next week, they go on the road to the Tonganoxie Chieftains, and then they'll end out their regular season hosting Paola. That'll be October 24th. Then after that, it's a little bit of postseason football for the Eudora Cardinals. So once again, we thank everyone here in Louisburg, Kansas. Beautiful facility, beautiful people. Everyone's just been lovely tonight, so we thank you all so much for that. Again, the Cards looking to take on the Independence Bulldogs next week. I believe we have a little bit of soccer or volleyball to bring you in the week prior to that. The next game up for the Louisburg Wildcats is going to be against West. That'll be 10-10 at 7 p.m. Then it'll be the Ottawa Cyclones, which they will host at home, and then they'll go on the road against Spring Hill for their final matchup of their season. And as we look to what's next for the Cardinals season, we'll give you the full, true look at what we're seeing as far as the schedule goes for the Cardinals. Again, just 3 more regular season football games. It'll be the Bulldogs up next, then the Chieftains, then Paola. The Frontier League standings at the moment, still 4-0 in the Frontier League. The Cardinals sit atop them all as they're going to look to make a push for a Frontier League title. The next game up for us will be Tuesday, October 7th. That'll be against the Baldwin Bulldogs. That'll be Reed McAvoy and myself on the call for a volleyball duel. Then it'll be the Independence football game. Then we'll have a boys soccer match against DeSoto the next Tuesday. So next up will be Tuesday, October 7th. We will see you guys at 6:30 for a tip for volleyball against Baldwin. That'll be Reed McAvoy and myself on the call. But once again, we say goodnight to you guys for the final time. That's Hayden Harves. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you on Tuesday for a little bit of volleyball action. And as we say, go Cardinals, and good night.
From the gridiron to the hard court, the pitch to the mat, don't miss any of the action. We're there with live, local sports coverage at VarsitySportsLive.com.